As Roddy says, to remember those 66 people who very sadly lost their lives when all they were doing that January day was attending a football match. So the two teams now will gather either edge of the centre circle. Celtic to our left, Rangers to our right. Referee John Beaton drops the match ball on the centre circle. He slowly makes his way to the other side of the centre circle, and now silence falls around the stadium.
All supporters to join a minute of silence ahead of kick-off in memory of the 66 supporters who lost their lives in the 1971 Ibrox disaster. They will always be remembered.
They will always be remembered. 2nd of January 1971 on Stairway 13, as Roddy says. He was here that day. A few lone shouts during the minute's silence there. Other fans trying to silence them, and a big roar and boos and jeers really go up from the Rangers fans as the Celtic players gather themselves in a team huddle ahead of kick-off. Our commentary position has been absolutely showered in confetti, little tiny bits of paper that have been ripped up and thrown down from on high. So Craig Levine, Roddy and myself just having to clear the desks at the moment, not even giving you the team news as yet. Very much looking forward to this football game, very much looking forward to Roddy's retelling of the Pelé story, of course, as we have across the world, as we have on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. We remember him today as well. Roddy has a good tale to tell you about meeting the great man, and as I say, the Celtic players wearing the black armbands in memory of their former player Frank McGarvey. Early shot on the Celtic goal, and Joe Hart is down to his left-hand side. The bouncing ball he gathers quite quickly. So the team news, 2 changes for Celtic. Let's mention them first, even though they're away team, because there is a debut, Celtic debut for Canadian right-back Alistair Johnston. He's immediately involved in an attack for Celtic down the right-hand side. Started all 3 games for Canada at the World Cup, has joined Celtic on a 5-year deal, and his debut is in the Old Firm game. Free kick conceded by Celtic. John Lundstrom was clearing the ball with his left foot. He has been caught, so we are underway. 40 seconds in on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. Rangers 0, Celtic 0. 2 changes for Rangers today from their 3-0 win against Motherwell last time out. Glenn Kamara and Fashion Sakala, the striker, come in for Ryan Jack and Alex Lowry. They're the 2 to make way. And the 2 changes for Celtic. Aaron Moy, despite 2 goals in the very impressive 4-0 win against Hibs, he drops to the bench. Alistair Johnston comes in for him. The Japanese international Reo Hatate, even though he wasn't at the World Cup, he moves forward from his right back position that he's been playing for the last couple of games. And a bit of experience in the front 3 as well. I'll get Craig's thoughts on this in a second. So many choices for Ange Postecoglou, but Jota and Liel Abada, the Israeli, are both on the bench, and it is James Forrest making his 459th appearance for Celtic, who starts in the front 3. Maida on the left-hand side and Kyogo through the middle, with Georgios Giakoumakis, the big Greek centre-forward, starting on the bench. So free kick Rangers, scooped into the Celtic penalty area. That is headed away. Ryan Kent runs to the ball, just lays it off to Kamara. Kamara wide on the left-hand side for Rangers, attacking the goal away to our left-hand side. Kent is stopped in his tracks on the edge of the penalty area. James Forrest brings the ball away. Loose pass, and then Starfelt steps forward, thumps it forward with his right foot and knocks the ball straight out of play for a throw into Rangers inside their own half. 2 minutes gone. Here's Craig Levine.
Yeah, I think both teams seem to be lining up in the same manner. It's a 4-2-3-1 for both sides. Yeah, I mean, it's been quite a lively start, Alistair, and I expected nothing less.
So 0-0. Game yet to take shape. Celtic starting with the 9-point lead at the halfway stage of this season. Both managers in the long overcoats right out on the edge of the pitch. Michael Beale and Ange Postecoglou. Borna Barisic, back from World Cup duty, started the last game against Motherwell, playing left back for Rangers. Hits a cross in from the left-hand side, but gets way too much on that. Sakala can't keep it in, and it goes behind for a goal kick to Celtic. So Rangers have Alan McGregor in goal, James Tavernier right back, Barisic at left back, Ben Davies, former Liverpool man, alongside Connor Goldson in the heart of defence. 4-2-3-1 as Craig says. John Lundstrom and Glenn Kamara, the two in midfield. A bit of pace about the front three behind Alfredo Morelos. Fashion Sakala on the right, Ryan Kent on the left, and Malik Tillman on loan from Bayern Munich this season in the number 10 role, wearing the number 71 in his blue Rangers shirt, and he's going to let the ball run out for a throw into Rangers on the right. Celtic have Joe Hart in goal, debut for Alistair Johnston, the Canadian, at right back. Greg Taylor, there was a fitness worry about him, but he's fit to start. He starts at left back. Cameron Carter-Vickers, the American, Carl Starfelt, the Swede, the two centre-backs. Matt O'Reilly, Callum McGregor, Reo Hatate as a midfield three, James Forrest and Daizen Maida either side of Kyogo. Throw in Rangers on the left, 4 minutes played, and Borna Barisic has the ball high above his head. Full programme in the Scottish Premiership this afternoon. Edinburgh Derby kicks off at 3 o'clock. That is at Tynecastle. That is Hearts against Hibs. BBC Sport website and the 5 Live bulletins will keep you in touch with that this afternoon. Maida onto the ball, into the Rangers penalty area, scores! Less than 5 minutes played at Ibrox. Rangers give the ball away inside their own half. Daizen Maida onto it like a flash, tore into the Rangers penalty area and sticks it into the bottom corner. Rangers 0, Celtic 1.
Well, it was always going to be tough for Rangers today, but they certainly shot themselves in the foot there, Alistair. That was a awful back pass by, I think it was Morelos, wasn't it, that played right into Maida's path. I mean, it still had a bit to do. He had to go past the defender and beat the goalkeeper, but at the same time for him that was an easy chance, and the ball has ended up in the back of net, and Celtic are off to a wonderful start.
Not how Michael Beale wanted to start, obviously. He said ahead of this game, since taking over, he could not wait until 12:30 this Monday. Wanted to set the team up to go out and win the game, get back into the title race, show everyone that Rangers aren't as far behind Celtic as everyone thinks. That, though, Roddy Forsyth, a terrible start for Rangers.
It's exactly the sort of start that Celtic specialise in. They like to do you in the first 10 minutes if possible. They've done that to Rangers, although it's more accurate to say Rangers did that to themselves.
So Daizen Maida with the goal, 6th of the season, 5th in the Premiership. Onto the ball, quick as a flash, and a sure-footed finish as well, giving Alan McGregor no chance at all. So how will Rangers respond in front of this packed stadium? Connor Goldston's played the ball forward with his right foot, intercepted, and actually Celtic have a free kick in their left-back position. So if Celtic win the game, they will be 12 points clear with 18 games to go in the season. A couple of derbies still to come as well, but you really do think, given Celtic's incredibly impressive domestic form ever since Ange Postecoglou took over, it'll be too much of a mountain for Rangers to climb. Glenn Kamara's tackled by Callum McGregor in Celtic's right back position. He's given the ball away though. Here's Tillman. Tillman challenged by Hatate. He's wriggled away from him up to the edge of the box. Maida in with the challenge. Tillman goes down. No free kick given. The ball is played forward for Kyogo to chase. Connor Goldson is there for Rangers, and just with a simple side foot pass back to his goalkeeper Alan McGregor, and he hurriedly clears up to the halfway line. But Celtic into the groove early on. Yeah,
I'd like another look at that challenge. I thought it was a free kick, but John Beaton decided that it wasn't, and he was slightly better than me.
7 minutes gone first half. Celtic with the early lead. Maida's cross in with his left foot is high, travels the entire width of the pitch, bounces 3 times and goes out for a throw in to Rangers in the left back position. So as Roddy was saying, the Old Firm derby is nothing new to Michael Beale, having been here with Steven Gerrard and having had a very good record in their time in charge here in these big games. But now this is something different. He's the man in the hot seat, and Rangers at home already a goal behind in this must-win game on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. Here's Alistair Johnston. He's got time on the ball inside the Rangers half, rolls a pass to Callum McGregor. McGregor gets his head up, plays across to the left to Greg Taylor. Taylor wide to the goal scorer, Maida. Maida fires a cross in, and that goes all the way across the face of goal. No one gets a touch from either team, and it goes behind for a goal kick to Rangers.
Yeah, and James Forrest had his head in his hands at the back post. If he just made that movement that he needed to make to connect with the ball, it's a tap-in, and that could have been a disaster for Rangers after what we played 10 minutes or so. Yeah,
sluggish start made by Rangers. Still lots of tiny little bits of paper all over the desk. You've still got a couple on your shoulder there as well. Craig, that was your welcome to Ibrox for an old firm derby. Craig Levein, former Scotland manager, alongside us in the commentary position here. 8 minutes gone, and it's going Celtic's way so far if you have just tuned in. Alistair Johnston, the Canadian international, on his debut. I'm sure is enjoying the atmosphere out there. The ball is back with Joe Hart. Joe Hart plays to his left. Starfelt is closed down by Morelos. Flicks a little pass to his right. Rangers fans urging more effort, more closing, more pressure from their team. Johnston side foots it to Hatate. Hatate fires the ball low across the halfway line. Maida reacted well. Plays it back into his own half. Taylor to Kyogo. Wide to Maida again. Down the left-hand side. Celtic still working it with Taylor. Taylor back into midfield. Here's McGregor. Pass forward for Maida to chase. He won't catch this one, and it goes behind for the Rangers goal kick. So 9 minutes played, Rangers 0, Celtic 1. Early thoughts, Craig?
Yeah, it's pretty evident that the pressing that Celtic do is with much more urgency than what Rangers do, and I think that's something that the supporters have let the players know, that they're not happy. They're not pressing the ball every time, every opportunity they get. They're setting off, and I don't think the Rangers supporters are happy with that at all.
Here's Hatate, just bumped as he played the pass. He's hobbling slightly. Celtic though have it wide on the right hand side with James Forrest. Gets his head down, busies himself, sprints forward 10 yards, lays it off to Johnston. Johnston's cross into the penalty area, headed away by Lundstrom. Drops on the edge of the box. Maida can't quite control it. Hooked away by Tillman. Morelos in the battle with Starfelt. Both players go to ground. Celtic have the ball, and Carter Vickers just rolls a pass to Hatate. So Hatate has been playing right back in the last couple of games for Celtic, now back into the midfield. Didn't feel there was enough pace on that pass for him. He's tackled by Sakala, and Celtic have a throw on the right. He's a very versatile footballer, Craig Levein. Hatate, he's a very, very good player.
He can play in a number of positions and equally well in all those positions. It's interesting to see Johnson. This is my first real, other than seeing him on the television. This is the first time I've seen him live, and he's already got himself in some really good crossing positions.
Tyson Maida, tackled by Tavernier. Ball comes back here to Goldson. Goldson tries to launch it long and quickly wide to the left-hand side. Header is won by Johnston, who we were just discussing. Offside flag goes up against Sakala. The other thing, though, you and I, Craig, were talking about before the game is 3 new signings straight away ahead of the January transfer window, and now all eligible to play. So Alistair Johnston starts today. Centre-back Yuki Kobayashi is on the bench. Defensive midfielder Tomoki Iwata has been signed as well. The squad strength here, so they have to look at the bench today to see what Ange Postecoglou's got at his disposal.
Yeah, and there's half a dozen players that you could probably name that aren't on the bench. So, they have got a very, very strong squad.
Rangers on the ball inside their own half. Tavernier, diagonal floated forward. Johnston heads it down to Carter Vickers, back to Joe Hart, all in yellow. Short sleeve goalkeeping top. Sliding challenge from Sakala on Johnston, and the ball goes out. And it is given as a throw into Celtic. Rangers thought it was going to go their way. All these Celtic players wearing these black armbands in memory of Frank McGarvey, and I'll get Roddy's thoughts on Frank McGarvey as well. He's a player I remember actually growing up as a young lad in my sticker books in the late 70s and early 80s. Very sadly died at the age of 66 in the early hours of New Year's Day, so our condolences and our thoughts with his family and friends. Won a couple of titles with Celtic, scored over 100 goals for the club, won a first division title under Sir Alex Ferguson actually for St Mirren back in the late 70s as well, so he will be sadly missed. Here's Connor Goldson under pressure from Kyogo. Plays the ball back to McGregor. It eventually gets there. Look at Maida charging forward to press Goldson, and all Goldson can do is flick the ball out for a throw to Celtic on the left.
That was incredible, wasn't it? You actually sprinted 30 yards to put pressure on the fullback, and then as a result of that, the ball's been played out the park, and Celtic have a throw in.
Last thing I saw Maida do just before heading down the tunnel in the warm-up was just lots and lots of short shuttle sprints, and it's all you see him do. He just, for as long as he plays, and he doesn't often last the 90 minutes, in fact rarely ever, but he just gives it absolutely everything at full speed. Carter Vickers under pressure. The Rangers fans enjoyed that. Played back to Joe Hart, who's right in the middle of his own half. Worked out to Starfelt. Now Taylor down the left-hand side, and Celtic have worked it well. Here's Hatate, low pass with his left foot. O'Reilly, first time ball, looking for the run wide on the left from Taylor. Tavernier's there first, and he just knocks the ball into the Rangers fans. It's out for another throw into Celtic.
You can actually see Celtic growing in confidence. That move that they had there, Alistair, was started from Joe Hart, finished up in the corner, the Rangers right back area. Celtic have possession with the throw-in, and it was a wonderful move actually. Celtic
understandably starting the game as favourites. That's how it's played out so far, leading 1-0. Pressure being put on the Rangers defence again. Edge of the box, McGregor, right-footed shot, and Alan McGregor this time goes low to his right, gets a touch on it. That'll be a Celtic corner.
Yeah, I think he did get fingertips to it. He tried to pretend that he didn't, of course, but I think he did.
328th Old Firm derby in the league in terms of the wins. Rangers 126, Celtic 112. Here comes Celtic again, trying to work a quick short corner down the left. Matt O'Reilly exchanges the 1-2, but the ball goes beyond O'Reilly with the return pass, and it's behind for the goal kick. And even though Rangers are 1-0 down, the other little stat I fished out of the programme, Michael Beale trying to become the first Rangers manager to win his first league derby against Celtic since Ali McCoist did it back in 2011. Celtic have won the ball back inside the Rangers half. Here's Hatate, looks to his left and to his right, turns 180 degrees, little short layoff to Callum McGregor, shouts for the ball back as McGregor gets it from Starfelt, wide to Greg Taylor, the left back. Now Maida tries to skip past Tavernier, felt he was caught on the way past. It's only given as a throw in to Rangers on the right, and the Rangers fans giving Maida a heap of stick. He won't care, he's already on the score sheet. Rangers leading Celtic by 1-0. There is a game in the English Premier League later on today. That is Liverpool's trip to Brentford, which kicks off at 5:30. Morelos down on his back, claiming he was caught in the face. Referee John Beaton not interested. Morelos gets up very quickly. Here's Hatate just inside the Rangers half. It's a high, lofted ball away to the right. James Forrest can't control it on the half volley, annoyed with himself. Out for a throw into Rangers on the left.
That's a rare thing to see, James Forrest miscontrolling the ball. It doesn't happen very often.
So Rangers take the throw. That's the voice of Craig Levine with us here at Ibrox. Scottish football reporter Roddy Forsyth, part of our commentary team this afternoon as well. 15 minutes played. First 15 minutes have gone by in a trice, as they always do in these games. John Lundstrom on the ball for Rangers. Plays across the centre of defence to Ben Davis. Davis wide to Barisic. Now Kent gets involved. Kamara's flick is easily cut out by Matt O'Reilly. Alistair Johnston down the line to O'Reilly. They wriggle out of a tight spot. Here's Forrest, and Forrest overhits the pass. Was looking to get Kyogo beyond that Rangers centre-back pairing, but the ball has ended up with the goalkeeper, Alan McGregor.
Yeah, and I thought Kyogo should have made the run, Alistair. I mean, he was a bit on his heels, I felt, because you can see James Forrest looking up and getting his sight set to play the pass. Tillman's ball forward into the feet of Ryan Kent. Nice layoff from Kent to Morelos, opening up on the left-hand side for Rangers. Here's Barisic, floated cross to the far post. Sakala jumps, gets underneath the ball. Now Celtic player goes down, holding his face in the penalty area. It's Matt O'Reilly, I think. Was it Greg Taylor? It's Greg Taylor down there defending at the far post. Claims he got a knock in the face, and the free kick has gone to Celtic. Roddy Forsyth.
Last time these teams played here in an Old Firm League game was last April. There was an early goal after only 4 minutes. The team that scored it lost 2-1. The player who scored it was Aaron Ramsey. Remember him?
I do, Roddy.
Scored it for Rangers, of course.
He did, yes. Right, Greg Taylor's down and he's going to need a little bit of treatment. As I say, he was an injury concern coming into this game for Celtic. So medical staff on their way. Coming up to 17 minutes played. Rangers 0, Celtic 1. So in terms of what you're going to hear on 5 Live this afternoon, after this game, full commentary on on this one. Connie McLaughlin will pick up. She's in for Nihal this afternoon. Drive as usual from 4 o'clock. Monday Night Club at 7 o'clock. There'll be an hour of the Monday Night Club with Mark Chapman, then a very special programme at 8 o'clock, which I advise you not to miss. 75 years of Sports Report we are celebrating. Pat Murphy, who's written the book on it and is out there and available to read right now. He is on the show with Mark Chapman. That will be a very good listen indeed. If you miss any of it, of course, it will be available as a podcast on the BBC Sounds app, as the Football Daily is every single day for you. Ready to go again here. Rangers 0, Celtic 1. Early goal from Dyson Maida. Morelos down again in the centre circle. Carter Vickers with the challenge. Morelos doesn't get the decision. He's starting to get frustrated.
Yeah, but I would get frustrated if that had happened to me and I didn't get a free kick, because that was a blatant free kick. I think John's decided not to give very many free kicks today. I don't know if he got up this morning and felt in a good mood and decided he wouldn't give any free kicks.
Here's Matt O'Reilly on the right-hand side. James Forrest is now down, having taken a knock. So, little bit of push and shove there between Morelos and Carter Vickers. Carter Vickers just put his body in the way of Morelos as Morelos went to chase the ball. Morelos gave him a shove. Always got to keep your eye on Alfredo Morelos. He can boil over. Offside flag goes up against Kyogo. So that'll be a free kick for Celtic, and Celtic might be having to make an early change. I think Juranovic, that is, Craig, who's getting ready to come on.
So Greg Taylor,
yeah. Injury concern ahead of the game, and he's only going to be able to last less than 20 minutes here. So Celtic are going to have a reshuffle. But there you go, in terms of squad strength. I mean, Juranovic, part of a Croatia team that made the World Cup semi-finals.
Yeah, and he can play equally well at left back as he can at right back. So I don't think that's a worry for Ange to make this change.
Morelos getting involved in a little bit of afters. I don't know why he needs to be involved in that. Referee John Beaton is just standing over Greg Taylor here, and Morelos has been sent away, and he's got his hands on hips, spewing on the halfway line. I was just looking at his record in the Old Firm games, actually. 19 of them he's played. 2 goals and 2 red cards is Alfredo Morelos' record.
Yeah,
in games against
he's
Celtic.
getting himself a little bit uptight today as well. He's had a couple of coming together probably with Carter Vickers, and I don't think he's too happy, and he has got a petulant side to him, Alistair, and we've seen that, and as you mentioned, 2 red cards, but those aren't his only red cards he's had in the Premier League in Scotland.
No, so James Tavernier, the Rangers captain, is in conversation with the referee John Beaton. Alfredo Morelos is there as well. Tavernier is arguing his teammate's case. Morelos has been sent away again, and I'm sure John Beaton is saying, look, I want to let the game play. And as you say, Craig, he's been quite lenient actually at the start of the game.
Yeah, I like that, and I don't think he's favouring either side in any way, shape or form, but just the fact that he's let a few things go. Nowadays there seem to be stoppages every 10 or 15 seconds in matches, but John has allowed the game to flow. So
Josip Juranovic, semi-finalist at the World Cup with Croatia, back into action for Celtic. He was on the bench for the 4-0 win at Hibs, but this is first action for the club since the World Cup, and he comes on at left back. New signing Alistair Johnston continues at right back. 20 minutes played in the first half. Celtic leading Rangers by a goal to nil here at a chilly Ibrox on this January afternoon. Tavernier's ball forward. Morelos controls, turns, floats a pass into space. James Forrest is back to try and cover it. Barisic is there. Just showed too much of that to Forrest. Forrest knocks it out for a throw into Rangers. Barisic takes that quickly, fizzes it to Lundstrom. Lundstrom forward to Kamara. Kamara turns, plays it wide to Barisic. Sliding challenge from O'Reilly for Celtic. Another throw in for Rangers, and again they take that quickly. Barisic to Lundstrom. Back here to Ben Davis into the midfield. Tillman is able to hold off Hatate, but not Kyogo. Kyogo gets a foot on the ball. Sakala with a crunching challenge to try and win it for Rangers. Then Hatate is back there for Celtic, runs into a couple of Rangers challenges. One of those apparently was a foul. Celtic getting the free kick. It's bubbling away nicely, Craig.
Yeah, it's getting a little bit tasty. I think that there's 3 Rangers players had a kick at Hatate there before John blew his whistle.
He could have kept going. I mean, the advantage could have been played. He was away. Carter Vickers goes to the diagonal to the left. Here's the goal scorer, Maida. Maida with his pace, burst past Tavernier. Cross comes into the near post. Challenge on the effort from O'Reilly, and it's gone behind for a goal kick. Last touch comes off the Celtic man, so that'd be a goal kick for Rangers. Alan McGregor wants to get that ball back quickly. Maida wasn't letting him do it. McGregor complains, and the atmosphere is red hot inside Ibrox. Rangers 0, Celtic 1.
Yeah, Alan McGregor's not lost any of the feistiness he had as a much younger player. He's such a winner and such a driven guy. You know, still to be playing at this level at his age is incredible.
Yeah. I just had a look actually at the old birthday. That comes at the end of this month, 41.
Yeah,
at the end of this month, Alan McGregor, and he's approaching 500 appearances for Rangers. Was there a little hand on that from Kamara? Johnston's flick pass touched Kamara's hand. Should be a free kick. The ball went out for a throw anyway. Celtic in control, leading Rangers by a goal to nil. If they win the game, they are 12 points clear at the top of the table with 18 games to go. You can't see Rangers making that up, can you, Craig?
No. If they were in much better form, then even then I would still say no. But I think even in this game, Celtic are in control of this match. They're not created an awful lot of chances so far, but you just feel that they're dangerous.
Carter Vickers looking for the lobbed ball over the top. Goldson backpedals and heads it away. Kent chests it down. Johnston leans over his shoulder to nod it forward for Celtic. The ball breaks loose inside the Celtic half, and that'll go out for a throw into the visitors, leading Rangers by a goal to nil. And Postecoglou with those hands thrust deep into the coat pockets. Must be reasonably satisfied, I think, so far. Johnston running across his own half, past the Starfelt, went under Starfelt's foot, but back to Joe Hart. Flick pass from Juranovic down the line. Hatate in a bit of space. Maida hugging the touchline on the left-hand side. Juranovic has made the run alongside Hatate in central midfield. Hatate to McGregor, plays back here to Starfelt. Starfelt just moves the ball onto his right foot, looking for an option across the halfway line to Johnston, who's settled very nicely on his Celtic debut, and Forrest was coming back from the offside position. He tackled Barisic, but he was offside, so that'll be a free kick to Rangers.
Yeah, I think Barisic got a sigh of relief there, because I think Forrest had just nicked the ball from him and was on his way towards goals. But for his sake, I mean, it was just offside.
Barisic then with the free kick inside his own half. Up it goes. Starfelt leaps high, beats Sakala in the air. Ball drops to Juranovic, plays into central midfield, and Callum McGregor sweeps it on quickly to Johnston. Forrest comes towards him, just inside the Rangers half. Finds O'Reilly. Good first touch from O'Reilly, but Ben Davies stuck to his task, wins it. He's giving it away. O'Reilly again battling on the halfway line. Lundstrom leans over him. Free kick given to Celtic. They want to go quickly if McGregor can. Tillman's in the way. Does go quickly. The referee's not going to allow it. It's what Celtic look to do, though, don't they?
They do that all the time, Alistair. I mean, they get the ball down. As soon as you get the free kick, the nearest person grabs the ball, puts it on the ground, takes the free kick quickly to try and catch the opposition out. And I just felt that John Beaton, he was kind of in the way a little bit as well, and I think that's why he just halted the Celtic move.
Celtic's league form, one defeat in their last 51 league games under Ange Postecoglou. That obviously takes you back into last season. 18 wins, just the one defeat away to St Mirren so far this season. Leading 1-0 here, Alistair Johnston. Low pass to James Forrest. Forrest into that Rangers penalty area. Cut back to the edge of the box. O'Reilly was there. Lundstrom read it. Intercepts it for Rangers. Plays up towards Morelos. Great battle between him and Carter Vickers. Carter Vickers won the first challenge. Then Lundstrom is fouled by Kyogo, and Rangers get the free kick.
I've noticed, Alistair, that there's quite a lot of the passes are pulling up short. I think the grass might be either a little bit longer than usual, but they're not quite getting to the tended target. So, and a couple of times there have been passes that you think is going to get to the player, but it gets intercepted. There's been a half a dozen of those so far in the match. Yeah. So maybe maybe the grass is a little bit sticky.
Needs a real clip to get it there. Goldson plays it to his right to Tavernier. Beats Maida, back to Goldson. Goldson goes long with his right foot down the inside right channel. Rangers fans thought they spotted something there. Sakala then trips over Starfelt as he runs into the penalty area. Joe Hart bowls it out to Callum McGregor. Celtic leading Rangers by a goal to nil. Japanese international Daizan Maida. I saw him score at the World Cup actually in the last 16 game. The draw against Croatia, which they eventually lost on penalties. He scored here today. Joe Hart, edge of his 6-yard box, and his clearance hits Morelos' right foot. The ball bounces. It's still in play at the moment. Morelos lays it back here. Kamara to Kent with the shot. Oh, Joe Hart tipped it under the post. Sakala with the rebound, and Starfelt slides into block, and that came out of absolutely nothing. Joe Hart dilly-dallying, and Rangers nearly get an equaliser.
Wow, he's a lucky guy, isn't he? Joe Hart. I mean, why he took so long to get rid of the ball? He had loads of options. I don't know what he was thinking. I really don't. And of course, the ball flew up in the air. It didn't go out of play. It didn't go out of play. And then Rangers had a brilliant chance. And Joe Hart has actually recovered the situation by making a really good save and knocking the ball onto the post.
Roddy Forsyth is waiting to come in as Alistair Johnson slides in on John Lundstrom. Now, I think that was right underneath us. I think he got a bit of ball, possibly a bit of man as well at the moment. I think the referee's just given that as a throw. Roddy, I think I know what you're going to say to me.
I have mentioned Joe Hart frequently in the past. There was a spell when I said he was value for one gaff every game, and I'm sure you've seen that yourself, Craig. There are times when it's quite inexplicable, and that was another one of them.
I don't know, honestly don't know what he was thinking. Is he getting a little bit tousy down there now?
Yeah. Boiling over at the moment. Borna Barisic not happy. Callum McGregor and he forehead to forehead, eyeball to eyeball. Referee is right there as well. Other players getting involved. John Beaton's got to calm this down. Stem from the challenge on Lundstrom. I think Rangers, it looks like they're going to take a free kick rather than a throw. And then in waiting to take the free kick, and as Lundstrom got to his feet, tempers flared there. Barisic for Rangers, McGregor for Celtic. You wouldn't expect anything less in this game. John Beaton knew exactly what was coming, and at the moment he seems to be handling it okay. We're approaching the half-hour mark, and Rangers very nearly with the equaliser. And as you were saying, Craig, initial gaff by Joe Hart creates the chance. Morelos did really well actually to get the ball back in play, and then made a really good save from Sakala to get that onto the post.
Yeah, Sakala will be kicking himself because it was a great opportunity. They were 13 or 14 yards from goal, and he had the whole goal to aim at. And Joe Hart did manage to get down to his left-hand side and divert it onto the post.
Lively and loud. BBC Radio 5 Live, available on the BBC Sounds app. Rangers 0, Celtic 1 in the Scottish Premiership. Goldson, half-volley ball, high into the Celtic box. Header away from Carter Vickers. Falls for Kent. Dummies a shot. Kent dribbles into the box, heading for the byline, tries to get that cross in from a tight angle. Johnston blocks it. Corner for Rangers. They're having a good little spell here, Craig.
Yeah, the first period of sustained pressure in the match from Rangers. We're 30 minutes in, and I'm sure Michael Beale will feel a little bit more comfortable when the ball's at this end of the field.
Better from Rangers at the moment. Conceded the early goal. Celtic have been on top. This is the best spell in the game for the home team. Attacking the goal away to our left. Corner comes into the near post, headed away by Kyogo, only as far as Kent. Kent takes it back down towards that byline. Chops back onto the right foot. Cross comes in, headed away by Starfelt. He is the big man in that penalty area for Celtic. Ball back with Lundstrom. 40 yards from the Celtic goal, wide to his left to Kent. Kent drops the left shoulder, cuts in field to the right, drifts across the Celtic midfield. Plays a low pass here to Kamara. Kamara's got Maida in front of him, plays one down the inside right channel. Sakala able to turn, cross comes in, Carter Vickers is there, clears it only as far as Morelos, who's out on the right wing at the moment, just pokes a little ball forward. Another cross comes in, McGregor slightly miscued. Starfelt with a slice clearance as well. Morelos' header drops in the box and Tavernier chases it. Joe Hart grabs it on the bounce.
There's been a few errors in the last 5 minutes. 2 or 3 attempts to clear the ball out of the box by Celtic, and each one of them resulted in the ball being an even more dangerous position. But Joe Hart did recover the situation, but there's a little bit of panic there, a little bit of panic from Celtic.
Rangers 0, Celtic 1. Joe Hart a little more assured with his feet this time, plays the ball to his centre-back Carter Vickers, who only got one appearance for the USA at the World Cup, with Walker Zimmerman chosen alongside Tim Ream in that USA defence. Starfelt, ball out to the left. Maida has to come scurrying back down the touchline, arrives there in time to keep it in. Little challenge from Sakala's a foul. Free kick for Celtic.
Yeah, Maida's fallen out of the game a little bit, isn't he? He was the go-to guy in the first 10 minutes or so, and he was causing Rangers all sorts of problems, but that's his first touch of the ball for at least 5 minutes.
Juranovic slices a pass to his right. James Forrest can't keep that in. Throw in for Rangers, so possession cheaply given away, which will annoy Ange Postecoglou. Touch from Kamara inside his own half, just glides away from Kyogo. Support from Barisic on the left. Johnston comes sliding in, blocks the ball forward with his right shin. Out for a throw in to Rangers. A few big Rangers flags waving in that Broomloan Road end away to our left-hand side. Ben Davies to Lundstrom. Lundstrom across here to Connor Goldson. Goldson is able to make ground into the Celtic half. Tavernier on the right, gives it straight back to Goldson. Played into central midfield to Kamara. Kamara quickly plays it on to Ben Davies. Nice touch and turn from Ryan Kent. Support on the left from Barisic. First time cross from him is high and behind for a goal kick. A couple of times he's got in good positions, not been able to provide the ball.
When he first arrived at Rangers, he was absolutely terrific, almost playing like a left winger, and the accuracy of his crosses was superb. And I don't know what's happened to him in the last year or so, but I mean, that was a situation he should be creating an opportunity for one of his strikers, and it was just a over-hit ball that just resulted in a goal kick, and it takes the pressure off.
Ball given away by Juranovic. Tillman intercepts for Rangers, finds Ryan Kent in a central position, 35 yards out. Kent low to his right, Sakala to Tillman. Tillman tries to turn down by the byline, cross takes a couple of deflections. Hatate is there, measured pass from him with his left foot, only finds Goldson though, and not Kyogo. And at the moment Celtic struggling to get out of their half, but they are leading 1-0. Goldson down the right, Tavernier can't control. Touch from Maida on that ball though, so it's gone out for a throw-in to Rangers. Tavernier takes and gives to Lundstrom. Lundstrom back to Tavernier, who quickly goes back to Goldson, just inside the Celtic half on the right-hand side. Difficult pass for Lundstrom to control, comes off him. McGregor's there, back to Juranovic. He's given the ball away again. Morelos just dinks a little layoff down to Tillman. It was behind Tillman. Juranovic reads it well and lays the ball to Hatate, and this is where Celtic are dangerous, sweeping forward. Maida in a race down the left here with Tavernier. Tavernier thinks he's got him covered. He's let the ball run out of play. Maida not there quite in time. Throw in for Rangers on the right. Rangers 0, Celtic 1, 12 minutes remaining in the first half. It's become a more even game in the last 10 minutes or so.
Rangers have had their first sort of real period of control in the match, and they're actually, Celtic have drifted out. I don't know, one probably is a result of the other. You know, Rangers have improved, Celtic have just gone on the back foot a little bit.
Rangers sense an opportunity here. Tavernier's ball down the right, sliding interception comes from Juranovic. Throw in taken quickly. Sakala is there. He's got Juranovic breathing down his neck. Turns into Maida. Ball comes off Maida's left foot, and that'll be a corner for Rangers. Now I know you think, Craig, don't you, that set pieces is a good opportunity for Rangers in this game?
Yeah, it's very, very simple. I mean, Rangers have 5 or 6 players 6 foot and above. I think Celtic have 2. So do the math, as we say.
Former Scotland boss Craig Levine with us on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. Rangers 0, Celtic 1. First Scottish Premiership football of 2023. Full programme this afternoon from 3 o'clock, including the Edinburgh Derby. Hearts against Hibs. Corner comes in from the right. Joe Hart stretches a left arm out. Last touch came off a Rangers player, apparently. John Beaton happy with the assistant referee's decision, so that will be a goal kick. Decent ball in. The Rangers couldn't get the crucial touch.
Yeah, Barisic was much better with that set piece. Put it in a really good area, and I actually thought Tillman was going to get his head on it before Joe Hart, but Joe Hart did well to get a touch.
Yeah, Tillman felt that Joe Hart got the last touch and was making that point. Johnston cleverly lets the ball run past and gets away from Kamara. Flicks a little pass to Forrest. Forrest just inside his own half. Johnston continues the run. Don't think he's going to be able to keep it in. Applauds the effort from James Forrest. Nice little understanding between that pair, but it will go out for a throw into Rangers. 10 minutes remaining in the first half, and Celtic still leading by a goal to 0. Here's Lundstrom. Lundstrom chips one up towards the halfway line. Carter Vickers, like Morelos' shadow, wins the header. Hatate's got a lot of space here on the ball inside the Rangers midfield. Thinks about taking Kamara on. Rolls it out to Maida, the goal scorer on the left-hand side. Gives it back to Hatate. Hatate with his right foot plays back into the centre circle, and Celtic just try and retake a bit of control of the game via measured possession. McGregor back to Carter Vickers, closed down by Kent, but gets his pass away, and suddenly Alistair Johnston has a bit of space to work with. Outside of his right foot, strokes a pass to Forrest. Forrest back to Hatate, lays it to McGregor, 30 yards out. Goes right again to Johnston, low pass in towards that near post. Here's James Forrest, shot deflected. Kyogo leaps to try and win a header. McGregor's off his line. Good claim by the Rangers goalkeeper.
Yeah, it was good play by McGregor. He was quick to come off his line. He got in amongst the bodies and managed just to catch the ball safely. Good goalkeeping. So
in terms of the Premier League football, as I said, Brentford, Liverpool, 5:30. We'll have updates on that one on 5 Live for you this afternoon, which will take you into the Monday Night Club from 7 o'clock this evening. Tomorrow night's commentary at 7:45 on 5 Live is Arsenal-Newcastle. Wednesday night, Tottenham trying to bounce back from defeat. They're away at Crystal Palace. Full commentary on that one. Chelsea-Manchester City is our commentary game on Thursday night, and then the FA Cup third round starts in England on Friday. Here's Hatate. Hatate finds O'Reilly. O'Reilly up to the edge of the Rangers box. Forrest, low ball in on miscue from Kyogo. Missed the ball completely, ran to Maida. Shot comes from Hatate. That's blocked by John Lundstrom. Felt sure Kyogo was going to rifle one, which was definitely going to test Alan McGregor.
I think earlier in the season, the form he was in, he would have scored there, I'm pretty sure of that. But it was a good bit of play by Celtic and a very good chance.
Good tackle, Tavernier. Rangers fans enjoyed that one. Maida goes flying, clean challenge. Ball forward is headed away by Starfelt. So Celtic can try and build again. Juranovic plays down the left. Hatate slows it down at walking pace. 2 blue shirts in front of him. Back to Juranovic. And in turn, it's Carl Starfelt, the Swedish centre-back in the black gloves and his green and white hoops, defending this goal away to our left. Little 1-2 and then a floated pass. Too much on it. It's beyond Juranovic now for a throw-in to Rangers, which Tavernier takes, gives to Goldson. Celtic forwards always interesting. Kyogo goes hurtling towards Alan McGregor. McGregor slightly miscues the first time clearance, goes spinning up in the air. Maida heads it forwards. Tavernier thought he was pushed in the back. John Beaton didn't give it. Ball's with Goldson. Goldson goes long and left, easily headed down by Alistair Johnston. Forrest lays it back to him. Here's Johnston again, and Forrest is on the move away down the right. First touch, Barisic comes sliding in, had to win it and does so for Rangers. Throw in for Celtic, level with the edge of the Rangers penalty area on the right. 7 minutes remaining in the first half. Rangers 0, Celtic 1. Celtic totally in control, took an early lead and had Rangers under pressure. Rangers far more into the game now, which I'm sure will please Michael Beale. Throw in from Johnston. Lundstrom is there, and on the volley knocks it straight out of play for another throw into Celtic on the right hand side. We've got a small, noisy, loyal band of supporters diagonally opposite away to us. Not hard to spot amongst the thousands of blue-clad fans inside this stadium. Ball is headed away from the Rangers penalty area. McGregor cushions a little pass back to Starfelt. Starfelt bobbling ball across to Juranovic, wide to Maida. Tavernier right behind him, bumps into him. Maida's able to control it, plays it back into the Celtic half. Here's Starfelt. Starfelt looking for an option, just drags it away from Kent. And the ball goes out of play. Juranovic had to stretch and couldn't quite control the pass from Starfelt. Craig Levine.
Yeah, there's been a lot of errors in this match, Alistair, and much more than you would normally see, so that would indicate to me that there are some nerves out there.
McGregor to Hatate. Hatate through here to Forrest. Forrest little layoff to O'Reilly, who was trying to open play up on the right hand side. Kamara intercepts. That pass is beyond Tillman. You can hear the audible frustration inside the ground. Tillman's not really busting a gut to get back there. He has now got behind the ball for Rangers, but O'Reilly just walks around him, plays to Starfelt, back to O'Reilly, who dances his way past Tillman very easily. Low pass finds Forrest on the right. Johnston makes the run on the outside. Forrest tries to use a little trick here to get away from Barisic. Sees Hatate in space in a central position. Support from Juranovic, edge of the box. Little pass to Maida. First time cross goes floating over the crossbar, was sliced slightly. McGregor worried for a second it could drift over him and into the back of the net, but it doesn't. And Celtic still lead 1-0.
Yeah, again, no, I think that's an error by Maida. It's a good chance, and he doesn't make the connection good enough. And it was a disappointing result.
In terms of substitutes to throw into the action for Celtic, Giacomakis, Abada, Moy, Jota are all on the bench. The new signing, the centre-back Kobayashi is there as well. Antonio Cholak is actually back fit for Rangers, having not played in the 4 games since the restart. They're on the ball now with Sakala, wide on the right-hand side, darting run in field. Plays back to Tillman. Tillman's cross comes in. It's just beyond Morelos. Johnston taking no chances for Celtic. Volleys it high and behind, and that'll be a corner for Rangers.
Yeah, it's good corner, a good defending by Johnston. But I get frustrated. Ryan Kent should have been making the run across the front of Johnston. It's a brilliant chance to score, but he's on his heels. And yes, it was good defending, but he didn't ask enough questions.
4 minutes remaining in the first half. Now the voice of Craig Levine, 5 Live and BBC Sounds, with Rangers trailing Celtic at home by a goal 1-0. Corner comes in from the left towards the far post. Free header Morelos over the bar. Great chance for an equaliser, and he just couldn't keep it down.
Yeah, great ball into the box, and I mean, he's on his own, isn't he, basically, and there's nobody there to mark him. He's got a free header and he should score.
Celtic are going to play out, they always do. Carter Vickers passes the ball around Morelos, finds Johnston. Celtic have found a way out, and now Kamara desperately trying to get back for Rangers, but Celtic have it with Forrest. Across to Hatate, Maida in space on the left-hand side. Tillman comes sliding in to win it. That only stops Celtic momentarily. 1-2 between Hatate and Maida. Juranovic with the drive, well off target. And behind for a goal kick to Rangers, but that's how it works. Beat the press, Craig, and then Celtic, whoom, they're on you, aren't they?
Yeah, and they move forward with such speed. I mean, so many numbers as well. It's not like there's only 1 or 2 in the counter-attack, sometimes 4 or 5.
So 2.5 minutes to half-time. I think that'll be as good a time as any to get the old Pele story out from Roddy. Of course, the football world at large mourning the loss of the great man. He's been remembered at games up and down the country over the last few days, as he will be in the Scottish Premiership today. We think that's coming at half-time in this one. Celtic have given the ball away. Here's Tillman. Tillman's low pass into the Celtic half. McGregor, Celtic captain, back there to intercept. Juranovic under pressure in the left-back position. He's had to come on for Greg Taylor in this first half. McGregor clears with his left foot. Kyogo can't make it stick, and the ball falls to Kamara, and he couldn't really see an option there. He's passed it into space, and Barisic has made the run for him. So this is Barisic against Johnston. Barisic back in field to Kamara. John Lundstrom 25 yards out in the inside left channel, across to Tavernier. Tavernier one touch and then wide to Ryan Kent, who's on the right at the moment for Rangers. Drops the shoulder, edge of the box, looking to try and make room for a shot. Slides a pass in. Carter Vickers intercepts. He's tackled, has lost it on the edge of the box. Morelos with the curler off target, and it's behind for a goal kick to Celtic.
Yeah, I don't know how many mistakes are counted in that one passage of play. I mean, it's incredible. They just keep giving the ball back to each other. It's almost like saying, if you have a shot, go on, you take it. And I mean, that was a decent chance again by Morelos. He just didn't quite manage to bring the ball around enough to put it into the top corner. Starfelt
from the short pass from Joe Hart has got it out to the left to Juranovic. He plays it down the line, but not accurate with the pass, and it's gone straight out for a throw to Rangers, taken by Tavernier. Last minute of the first half. 5 Live and BBC Sounds. Rangers 0, Celtic 1. Dyson Maida's early goal for Celtic here at Ibrox. Kamara to Tavernier, infield to Tillman. Tillman on the move, brings the ball into central midfield, tries to slip one through to Sakala. Celtic make the interception. Here's O'Reilly on the turn. Little pass to his left to Hatate. Celtic trying to be too cute of giving it away. Morelos sees Barisic steaming down this left-hand side again for Rangers. Gets his head up. Now, is that a better cross? It looks it. Carter Vickers got a header on it. Flicked it across the penalty area. Rangers will keep it in with Tavernier wide on the right-hand side. Tries to open himself up for a cross in to the near post, just over Sakala. Header up in the air. McGregor with a second header away. Celtic still defending. Barisic thinks about another cross. Dummies it to Kamara. Wide to Kent on the left-hand side. Kent back to Kamara. 2 minutes of added time at the end of this first half, and now Barisic again. Low cross this time. Tillman miscues with the right-footed shot. Difficult skill with the ball coming across his body from the left-hand side, and it's cleared into the Rangers half, and Goldson gets it back to his goalkeeper, Alan McGregor. Enough encouragement, I think, Craig Levine, in the last sort of 25 minutes of this half for Rangers.
Yes, a good chance there, and Morelos has had 2 previously, so Rangers are definitely not out of this game. This is there's a lot left for them to do, but they're still not out of the game for sure.
Morelos battling, wins it for Rangers, sees Tavernier coming up on the right. Tavernier's touch, then cross, deep one to the far post. Sakala just beyond him. Hatate leaps in, comes off his chest. Had to be careful with the left arm out there as well, and it goes behind for a corner. Of course, VAR now employed here in the Scottish Premiership. First Old Firm derby that has had VAR involved. I can see the replay monitor with those letters VAR boldly emblazoned on the screen around it just below us here. Corner late in the first half for Rangers. Tavernier's delivery, far post, headed down and wide. Another great chance. Morelos has had 2 late in the first half, and both off target.
There's no excuse. He's got to score, Alistair, hasn't he? I mean, that is a wonderful ball into the box. He's on the 6-yard line. All he needs to do is hit the target. There's enough pace on the ball, and he puts it past the post. And I mean, Michael Beale will be absolutely furious. That's 2 what we'd call sitters in the last 10 minutes.
Two-headed chances for Alfredo Morelos. Absolutely pinpoint delivery from James Tavernier both times. First one he got up well but couldn't keep the header down. The second one found him at the far post just then, and he nodded it down and wide. And we've had Joe Hart tipping the Sakala effort onto the post as well. But it is Celtic who lead. Here's Maida, bouncing ball, hoists it to the edge of the Rangers box. Almost a miscommunication between goalkeeper and defenders. Alan McGregor had it under control though, and Rangers start to play out from the back up towards the halfway line. Half-time whistle blows. Very entertaining first half. Celtic off to a flyer, taking the lead through Dyson Maida. But have we've been saying, Craig, lot of encouragement for Rangers in the second half of the first half.
Yeah, the latter part of that first half, I think Rangers took control of the match. They created good opportunities. Morelos himself could have scored 2 and should have scored 2. So, there's a long way to go in this match, but I do think that Rangers have fought themselves back into it. Not so much obviously in the scoreline, but there's enough there for Michael to take encouragement and to talk positively in the dressing room about the performance in the second half of the first half.
In terms of the title race, it is a must-win game for Rangers. Lose it, they are 12 points behind Celtic. They've missed some glorious chances at the end of the first half, but at half-time, in the sunshine here at Ibrox, on 5 Live and BBC Sounds, it is Rangers 0, Celtic 1, and we're handing back to Connie McLaughlin.
Thanks very much for that, Ali. Just before we let you go, actually, just watching the pictures here coming into the studio, and realistically, if you're Ange Postecoglou right now, Ali, you're going to be, I would say, slightly disappointed, especially for the last 25 minutes of that game, because they started just exactly the way that you would expect from this Celtic team. They've got an identity, they've got a way that they play football, and Rangers just easing themselves into this one. And I don't know necessarily if it's anything to do with the change, with Juranovic, with Taylor, but they just looked a little bit sluggish.
Yeah, well, I mean, their standards are so incredibly high, Connie, that I think, Ange, I mean, let's not forget, they're away from home at their biggest rivals. They've got the early lead. They've just been a little bit sloppy at times. I mean, Craig highlighted before the game the danger that Rangers would pose at set pieces. We've seen that, and Rangers should have scored. The one that Joe Hart tipped onto the post, that purely came about because Joe Hart got caught playing out from the back. And as Craig has been saying, actually, from both teams during the game, there's almost been a sluggish start to the new year in terms of just misplaced passes and the ball not quite getting there. But I think Ange Postecoglou will say, well done, we're in front, but actually we can do a lot better.
Yeah, he doesn't like to get too high or too low, does Ange, to be fair. I think that's why the players quite like him, because there is that consistency of sort of message. This is what we need to do, we stick exactly to the plan. Craig, just on that point actually, because there's been a lot that's been said about Kyogo, the fact he's never scored in an Old Firm derby yet, I say. He had that opportunity sort of about 10-15 minutes before half time. You would be expecting a little bit more from Scotland's top goal scorer in these games, because you'd think within about 20 minutes or so you're likely to see Giakoumakis coming on.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if he's recovered the form that he had earlier on in the season. He's not been quite the same player for me. I just think he looks a little bit sluggish, and there was a situation early on in the match where there was a pass played in behind, and normally he would be onto that in a flash, but he was just hesitated, and it looks to me like he's maybe not up to speed fitness wise. There's been so many unforced errors, Connie. It's incredible that the team just keep giving the ball away.
Yeah, I was going to say, just it shows you though where we're at. If he's been sluggish the last few games, but he's still sitting top of that table as for scoring the most goals for this season. But and to be fair, Craig, I guess the same can be said for Alfredo Morelos, because his form in these games at times has been patchy, and again a couple of really glaring opportunities for him that I guess the Rangers fans particularly would have expected and wanted more from.
Yeah, and I think he's trying to keep Kyogo top of the goal scoring charts as well. Those 2 chances that missed at the end of the first half, they were incredible. But it's actually an exciting game. There have been a lot of errors, and that's probably added to the excitement. But I thought that Celtic would win this game comfortably, Connie, but that's not been the case. Rangers have done well to come back into it in the second part of that half, and I'm actually really looking forward to what happens in the next 45 minutes.
As they always say though, with these games, you never quite know, and it's not I always think cliches are cliches for a reason, because this game in particular is certainly one of those that you never know what's going to happen. I know that Roddy Forsyth is watching on as well. Roddy, are you there?
Yes, thank you, Connie.
You and I were talking talking in midweek, and you blew me away, which you do on a regular basis, to be fair. And I know that you know an awful lot of people in football and Scottish football, but I wasn't necessarily expecting the story that you told me in midweek about a certain Pelé. Tell us more.
Yes, you have to listen to it twice, Connie. You're not unique amongst my friends and family. But yes, I was the first year I was employed by Radio Sport to do this job, Scottish reporter. Scotland reached the World Cup finals. That's a distant memory too, and that was in Mexico in 1986. And I was flying out there, and there was a transition stop in Dallas where I had to change airlines. And I was sitting in the transit lounge, and I kept on looking across at this fellow who was sitting on the other side, and I kept thinking, it can't be Pelé sitting on his own in the transit lounge. But it was. And as I discovered when I went over and said to him, excuse me, you probably get this a lot, but you look one hell of a like Pelé. And he said, I am Pelé. So we got to talking. He asked me if I was going to the World Cup, because I said I worked for the BBC. I said I was. He said he was also going to the World Cup and going to Mexico City. Turned out we were going on the same airline, same flight. He said, would you like to sit next to me? And I sat next to Pelé and flew to the World Cup finals, a 2.5-hour flight from Dallas to Mexico City. But Mama Pelé didn't raise no fool. We were sitting in the front two seats, and he had me in the aisle seat so that I could act as a barrier from the endless number of people on the plane, including the cabin crew, who wanted to have a photograph taken with him or have his autograph. What he did do that I always thought was wonderful, my tape recorder was in my whole baggage, and I asked him if when we got to Mexico City he would do an interview with me, but I said I won't have immediate access to my tape recorder. And he agreed, and he spoke to the VI people at the other end, and eventually my tape recorder and baggage was brought to me, and I interviewed Pelé in the VIP lounge in Mexico City. And somewhere in the BBC vaults that interview exists, but I got told off for doing it because I asked him how Brazil would do and various other people, including Scotland, but I forgot to ask him about England, and I got my knuckles rapped for that basic error. But
I can imagine how that went down.
But to have flown to the World Cup finals with Pelé, I'll never forget it.
Tell me this, right, just briefly. 2.5 hours sitting with arguably, and let's not go down this route of who's the greatest player of all time, because we could be here all day. But what was the chat? What did you talk about?
Funnily enough, I can't remember much of it. We were interrupted so many times. He did ask me that if, coming from Scotland, I liked whiskey and which whiskey I would recommend to him. One thing I did talk to him about, though, was I said I had read that he had a very poor background, and he was brought up in a Brazilian favela, a slum. And he told me that not only did almost no child have football boots or trainers, very many of them, most of them, didn't even have shoes. And of course he told the famous story of learning to play football himself with torn up newspaper wrapped up in a cloth ball. This was the greatest footballer in the world.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that, Roddy. Amazing story. That's definitely one that's hard to beat. We're going to be heading actually to Brazil to get the latest from the fact that Pelé's, of course, lying in state at Santos right now. So we're going to be finding out what's happening there and getting this seen in just a couple of minutes' time. But we'll be heading back to Alistair Bruce-Ball and Craig Levine and Roddy Forsyth at Ibrox for the second half in a couple of minutes' time. But before we do that, let's get the 5 Live News this afternoon with Carl Hartley.
Listen on BBC Sounds. This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
The organisation that monitors the standard of care in A&E departments says some are in a complete state of crisis, putting patients at risk. Dr Ian Higginson, the Vice President of the Royal College of Emergency Medicine, said the problems caused by the strain on the NHS were long-standing and getting worse every winter. Katie is a paediatric registrar and rang us here at 5 Live.
And we haven't got anywhere to put the patients. We're like saying, well, look, actually, I'm free to see you now, but I don't have a cubicle to see you in, or I can't really do an examination on you in the corridor here, so we're going to have to wait. It's resources, it's beds, it's staff.
The government says it's providing more than £14 billion in additional funding for health and social care over the next 2 years. Ukraine says it's killed around 400 Russian soldiers in a rocket attack on an occupied town in the eastern region of Donetsk. Officials in Moscow have acknowledged casualties following the attack in the city of Makivka, but didn't confirm the numbers being reported. 3 people have died after a fire broke out at a hotel in Perth. The Deputy First Minister, John Swinney, who is the local MSP, shared his sympathies on social media, saying it was heartbreaking news. Our reporter, Gareth Barlow, is following the developments.
Several of those emergency service vehicles still remain on scene. There's a police cordon and the rest of the guests have been evacuated. The hotel is a 28-room and suite hotel. It's close to the railway station in the centre of Perth. And at 5:10 this morning, the ambulance service in Scotland and also the fire service sending 21 ambulance vehicles and 9 fire appliances.
Actor Jeremy Renner is in a critical but stable condition after an accident involving a snowplow near his home in the US. Police are investigating the cause in which the Marvel actor was the only person involved. And Prince Harry says he wants his brother and father back and to be part of a family, not an institution. The comments come in a trailer for an upcoming interview being broadcast on ITV on Sunday.
The voice of the UK. This is 5 Live.
You're live on Radio 5 Live.
A huge goal.
Hey, listen.
Listen live on digital, online, smart speaker, or the BBC Sounds app.
Afternoon to you. It's just coming up to 1:30. It's Connie McLaughlin with you here on 5 Live. We'll be returning to Ibrox to get the second half of Rangers against Celtic. If you're just joining us, it is Celtic that lead that one by a 1-0. Days Maida within the first 5 minutes or so. But you might have been hearing in the news throughout the day that Pelly's coffin has arrived at his former club's stadium, Santos, for a public wake. Fans and dignitaries, including the president, will file past the coffin to pay their respects before a private family burial tomorrow. Let's head over to Brazil. We can speak to journalist Ricardo Satan, who's in Santos. Afternoon to you, Ricardo.
Hi, Connie. Good afternoon. Good morning here. It's 10:30 now, 30 minutes that the funeral started, and already around 1,000 people have been through these small alley created within the pitch where he played 288 times and scored 210 goals. Vila Belmiro in Santos, the stage of Pelé, is ready to say the last goodbye.
What's it like where you are right now? Because I can imagine that there was the initial shock and sadness after the news, but we've seen so many people, you know, on the station included, telling their own personal stories and hearing about their experiences of meeting Pelé and being with him.
Well, I think it's a very important question, Connie. Of course, it's understandable that everyone in social media and on microphones and cameras say of their experience with Pelé. For me, it's a bit different because I worked with him for some time and I was able to be one of the few people that went to 3 or 4 birthdays, and it's very hard to make a journalistic coverage of someone you know and that is not here anymore on such greatness. Right now, to find a spot where I can have some silence to be able to talk to 5 Live and its listeners was very hard. Everyone is here. 24 hours of a funeral to people that are simple. That was the request of Pelé, and so it's happening. For us, it's very nice that the president of FIFA is here and so many VIPs, but it's the people of the street, and it's so beautiful and amazing to see people with jerseys from every single club, not only of Brazil, in the world. I saw someone with Everton jersey a few minutes ago. That's the legend. That's the first person in the planet who managed to be global, even before color TV. So it's intense, it's very big, and they have embalmed his body in order to allow this to happen. The heat is amazing, and we see his wife and his son crying most of the time. They're very close to us. People can just, as I said, be 7-6 meters away, and it's going to be a very long day, a very long day.
Listen, we appreciate your time and speaking to us, because it can't be easy, especially someone that you know and you loved and you held very close to your heart. So thank you for doing that. It must be difficult because we know that there's so many people who want to pay their tributes, who want to be close and have their own moments of silence, I guess, with the coffin. What's the next couple of hours going to be like there? Just briefly, if you can.
Again, it's intense, and since Thursday, I've been following the events and seeing the international media, which are coming from so many places, and of course many foreigners, you know, from Qatar, from the UK, from the United States, and everybody tries to explain the greatness of Pelé. But I think that today, seeing the man that was a dividing era before him and after him. Now we discover a third era, which is football without the king. Seeing the president of FIFA coming over and saying that he's asked officially to 211 football associations in the world that they name at least one stadium in every country after Pelé in order to allow his legacy to be secure for the next generation. Wow. It's very nice.
Yeah. That's something very special. Listen, thank you so much for your time, Ricardo. We really appreciate you talking to us. That was Ricardo Satan there, who's in Santos, someone who knew Pelé very well, and also covering that wake that's lasting 24 hours. It's 1:34 here on 5 Live. Let's rejoin our commentary team of Alison Bruce-Ball, Craig Levine. He's alongside Rory Forsyth back at Ibrox.
Thank you, Connie. Rangers 0, Celtic 1 at half-time. Dyson Maeda with the early goal after Rangers gave the ball away in the opening stages of the game inside their own half. But they had their chances. If you were listening to the first half with us on 5 Live and BBC Sounds, you'll know that Rangers could easily be level. Joe Hart nearly caught out at the back, redeemed himself with a good save from Sakala to tip one effort onto the post. Morelos went close with 2 headers, both of which he probably should have scored from. Neither managers made a change at half-time. Celtic were forced into one change in the first half. Greg Taylor, the left-back, off injured, so Josip Juranovic came on, and he is now the left-back. Rangers have Alan McGregor in goal. Tavernier, Ben Davis, Connor Goldson, Borna Barisic as the back four. John Lundstrom, Glenn Kamara as the midfield two. Fashion Sakala, Malik Tillman and Ryan Kent as an attacking three in support of the Colombian Alfredo Morelos. Second half is now underway. Rangers keeper Alan McGregor all in orange. In the goal away to our left-hand side has cleared the ball up to the halfway line. Ryan Kent is tackled and the ball has gone out for a Celtic throw. So they've got Joe Hart in goal. Debut for Alistair Johnston, the Canadian international, at right back. Juranovic is on at left back. Carter Vickers and Starfelt, the two centre backs. O'Reilly, Callum McGregor, Rio Hatate as a midfield three. The goal scorer Maeda wide left, James Forrest on the right, and Kyogo Furuhashi through the middle. Celtic in the green and white hoops, white shorts, green and white socks, playing from right to left in this second half, and it's Rangers who are trying to build the play down the left. Kamara is challenged by Johnston, and that is a free kick for Celtic. So do you think, Craig Levine, that Ange Postecoglou might have possibly torn even though they're 1-0 up, torn a strip off Celtic a little bit for sort of letting it slip a bit in the first half?
Well, they're renowned for keeping their foot to the floor for the whole 90 minutes, and I think Ange will be extremely disappointed that they started the game exceptionally well, including the goal, of course. But as the game wore on, I felt that Rangers gradually managed to claw their way back into the game. And we spoke at half-time there just about the number of errors that were in this match, and I think Celtic lost a bit of confidence because of that.
Good strength from Sakala, holds off Juranovic, gets the ball up to the edge of the penalty area. Good pass as well, finds Ryan Kent onto the right foot. Ryan Kent drills it into the far corner, and Rangers are back in the game right at the start of the second half. Ibrox absolutely explodes with noise. What a finish from Ryan Kent. Rangers 1, Celtic 1.
That was a fantastic goal. I mean, it was a good pass out to him, but when Ryan Kent gets shapes up against somebody inside the penalty box, invariably he'll go on his right hand side and go across the goalkeeper, and that's exactly what he did. He shifted the ball to the right hand side and he struck a glorious shot right into the top corner, and Joe Hart had absolutely no chance.
What a goal from Ryan Kent, only his second of the season, a hugely important one, a very dramatic one, and an absolutely superb one to light this place up just after half-time. Rangers 1, Celtic 1. Sakala started it with his run inside the Celtic half. The pass eventually found Ryan Kent, and the celebration, actually, I mean, he enjoyed the goal so much, he didn't tear off and celebrate with any of the fans. He just stood there and said, how about that? And actually we got a bit more confetti coming down as well, Craig, so we're covered in little bits of paper again. But I mean, for the game, you know, forget whether you're a Rangers fan or a Celtic fan, say neutrals listening to us, for the game, that is perfect.
Yeah, I mean, the game itself in the first half was actually quite even when you looked at over the whole 45 minutes. But this is for the game, this is great. I mean, Rangers are back in it, and they're just really interesting to see where this goes from now.
Carter Vickers and Morelos again just tussling moments ago. Referee John Beaton's going to have to keep an eye on that. They are light. They have quite similar builds, actually. They're big men, but wide as well. A couple of heavyweight boxers in the ring. So that's going to be a great battle in the second half. Celtic under pressure. Get the ball back to Joe Hart. He's all in yellow. Clears with his right foot. Beaten by Ryan Kent early in this second half. And that is why you can barely hear yourself talk at the moment. Alistair Johnston curling ball down the right hand side. Ben Davies stretches the Rangers centre back. Ball comes off his left foot. He keeps it in play and plays it back to his goalkeeper Alan McGregor. So at the start of the day, Celtic led Rangers by 9 points in the title race. We are midway through the season. If Rangers can win, that's down to 6. 2 more games between the pair to come. So if Rangers can win the game, it's a massive difference. I think if Celtic win, then Rangers really have very little chance of catching them. But a Rangers win could really change things. Tillman to his right finds Tavernier. Tavernier chased by Maida. Ball into Sakala. Gets underneath the shot and fires it over the angle of post and crossbar behind for the goal kick. Craig Levine.
Well, they're really turning the screw now, aren't they? So that was a wonderful piece of play, and I think Sakala should have at least have hit the target. I mean, his first touch was good, it set him up nicely, but he just slashed at the ball and it went over the bar.
Hands Postecoglou. You can see the frustration visibly at the moment. The hands came out of the pocket to the big coat there and just threw them out wide as Celtic start to play from the back.
The interesting thing, Alistair, is that Celtic stopped pressing as high up the field as they did in the first part of the match.
Sakala comes running back, big roar from the fans as he makes his challenge on Juranovic. You could see the celebrations as well from Sakala and Morelos after the goal, came back to the halfway line and sort of moved quite close to Kyogo and weren't celebrating at him, but were close enough to him to sort of make their point and were celebrating with the fans in this main stand that we sit in alongside the pitch. But fair bit of needle in the game. Lot riding on it. Rangers 1, Celtic 1. Poised beautifully. Sliding challenge this time from Lundstrom. Comes in on Alistair Johnston. The ball goes out for a throw into Celtic. Attacking position on the right hand side. Johnston takes it. Gives it to McGregor. Back to Alistair Johnston, who's got time to get his head up. Look for a pass here. Flicks it back to McGregor. McGregor's got Hatate on his left hand side. Hatate is 15 yards inside the Rangers half. He's dribbled into trouble there. Lundstrom stops him. Forward to Morelos. Morelos just lays it off to Tillman. Tillman's got support from the speedy Sakala, and Sakala's running at Juranovic. Juranovic is showing him the outside. Sakala uses it, gets onto the ball. Sliding challenge comes in, and John Beaton says penalty. Sakala stays down. Starfelt with the challenge. He can't believe it. But Rangers have a penalty. It will be checked by VAR. But having been 1-0 down at half-time, they now seemingly have a chance to get their noses in front.
Yeah, I think it was a penalty, and Starfelt went in slightly. There's no need for him to slide in that situation. He's given the referee a decision to make, and I do think there was contact, and I do think the goal will stand. The penalty kick will stand. I've seen it in the future.
James Tavernier, very experienced penalty taker for Rangers. 56 he's taken in total. 5 out of 6 is the record this season. Hit the post with one against Aberdeen in October. Seething mass of Rangers fans behind Joe Hart's goal. English goalkeeper giving it the old Emi Martinez mind games. He's had a little wander up to Tavernier, had a word, trying to make himself look as big as he can. Not back on his line just yet. On the edge of the 6-yard box, waving his arms around. And John Beaton says to Tavernier, just hold on. Let Joe Hart get back there. Penalty stands. Chance for Rangers to take the lead early in this second half. Tavernier with the right foot. Oh, what a penalty! Top corner. No goalkeeper's going to save that. And Rangers are 2-1 in front. What a turnaround in the game. 7 minutes in the second half it's taken for Rangers to go from 1-0 down to 2-1 up. Michael Beale will be loving that. Rangers 2, Celtic 1.
Yeah, Michael Beale, you're right, will be loving it, because also what's happened is the momentum they had in the first half, they've managed to regain that after the half-time break, and I think that is really interesting. The manager's obviously done the right thing in the dressing room, kept them focused. I mean, but let's talk about the penalty. That is the perfect penalty. No goalkeeper can save that. Right in the top corner.
Absolutely fabulous penalty, under pressure, in the big moment from James Tavernier. What a turnaround in the game, and as I say, 9-point lead at the start of the game. If Rangers win it, that's then 6 points. 2 derbies still to come. There'll be a very different feel to the title race. Celtic took the early lead, but sort of fell away in the first half, and Rangers have taken encouragement. Celtic coming down the left-hand side, ball into the Rangers penalty area. Ben Davies clears. Morelos is caught there by Starfelt, and John Beaton gives the free kick. We haven't had a yellow card in the game as yet. Both managers seem to be complaining about something. Of course they would. The stadium itself, and I've experienced this before inside Ibrox, is actually physically rocking. You can feel the gantry moving, can't you? Roddy Forsyth.
Just to let you know, Aaron Moy was told there to get up, get himself warmed up. So that may be the next change for Celtic. We also think Giacomakis can come on.
What a turnaround, Roddy. What
astonishing, especially since for most of the first half, Rangers had half the possession of Celtic. And by the way, I was there when St Mirren beat them, and I can tell you this is the poorest Celtic display I've seen since then.
Really?
Yes,
right.
In the later part of the first half and into this half.
Rangers fans enjoying themselves now. Juranovic covering a ball down by the dead ball line, lost his footing and slipped. That got a massive roar. Throw in for Rangers on the right. Leads Celtic by 2-1. Roddy said it right at the start of our coverage. Michael Beale, in his time here alongside Stephen Gerrard, had a very good record in the derbies. Played 13, won 8, won 5 out of 6 of them at Ibrox. The half-time team talk has had a real impact for Rangers. John Lundstrom lining one up, hits the shot, and it's blocked on the edge of the penalty area by Starfelt, who unnecessarily conceded the penalty that James Tavernier stuck away to put Rangers 2-1 in front. Celtic coming into the game, just 1 defeat in their last 51 league games, 18 wins out of 19 in the league so far this season. Rangers on top at the moment. Sakala with the ball at his feet. Little flick, he's fouled as he got the ball to Tillman. Tillman runs into Hatate, he's still got it. Dribbling inside the Celtic penalty area. Sakala's still down, and Hatate is waiting to clear with his left foot. The free kick then is actually given to Celtic. There could have possibly been one given to Sakala, but I think referee John Beaton there, Craig, decided to play the advantage because Tillman still had the ball. Yeah,
he did decide to play advantage, but I think they'd rather have had the free kick. Celtic had enough players back to defend that situation.
That's a good point. Former Scotland boss Craig Levine enjoying it inside Ibrox with Roddy Forsyth and myself. 5 Live, always available via the BBC Sounds app if you're on the move in the holiday season. Plenty of Premier League commentaries on the way the next 3 nights. Arsenal Newcastle tomorrow night, Palace Tottenham on Wednesday night, Chelsea Manchester City on Thursday night. 10 minutes gone in the second half here, and the champions Celtic behind at the home of their great rivals. A couple of quick fire goals in the second half. Starfelt back to Joe Hart. Hart under pressure, fires the ball down the middle of the pitch. Goldson's glancing header goes back towards his keeper, and McGregor, it wouldn't quite come for him, has to whack it away with his right foot. Long clearance downfield. Carter Vickers heads it to his right, and Alistair Johnston, the right back, takes control for Celtic. Some game to make your debut in, by the way, for Alistair Johnston.
Incredible. And I shouldn't be surprised, but I am. You know, I mean, before the game, it's a derby match, and of course anybody can win, but everybody assumed that Celtic were in better form and they were the team who were more than likely going to win this. But you know, derby matches,
Yeah, it's not panning out that way at all, despite the fact that Celtic got off to the flyer. They're trying to get a foothold back in the game now. They're attacking with McGregor, finds Hatate on the right. He's followed all the way by Tillman out to the right-hand touchline, down by the corner flag. Hatate's got the skill and the speed to get away from him. Cross comes in, and it just goes past Maida's foot at the far post. The cross was behind him. Maida saw it very late. Alan McGregor tried to get a touch, and Hatate, I think, did the right thing. He just went for pace across the face of goal.
Yeah, and I think Alan McGregor did get a touch, and I think that's what diverted the ball away at the back post. So that goes down in my eyes as a good save.
Good goalkeeping from Alan McGregor. Carter Vickers on the ball. What a start to the Scottish Premiership season in 2023. Kyogo's little flick over the top of the Rangers back line was looking for the run of Hatate. He wanted a short one into feet, so they weren't quite on the same wavelength there. I would expect Celtic changes fairly shortly. Rangers leading Celtic by 2-1. Tavernier plays the ball down the right. Sakala can't keep it in play. Throw in for Celtic, and Michael Beale's giving it the manager's classic, just pointing both fingers to the forehead. Concentrate, Craig.
Yes, I think everybody understands that one, don't they?
That's international sign language from a football manager. Morelos had a little flick at McGregor there. McGregor reacted and pushed Morelos, and Morelos gives him another little shove in the back, and there's going to be lots of little things going on off the ball here. Maida gets a nudge from Goldson, and the ball's behind for a goal kick to Rangers.
Funnily enough, 2 minutes ago I was watching Morelos against Carter Vickers, and the exact same thing happened. There was a little tussle between the two, so there's something going on there. I don't know quite what's going to happen, but it's worth keeping an eye on.
Yeah, Morelos is on the wind up at the moment, and it's whether anyone's going to bite, and Celtic players will feel they can wind him up as well. So Celtic could be about to make a double change. Aaron Moy was one who came back to the bench. The other, I think, Leila Barda possibly could be coming on. Tillman for Rangers in his blue shirt, white number 71 on the back. Chips a pass down the right. Sakala can't get there but does chase. Starfelt playing out. Tillman read it onto it for Rangers, trying to make way down the right hand side. Crosses blocked at the near post by Starfelt. Corner for Rangers, they lead 2-1.
What was Starfelt doing there? I mean, that's crazy, isn't it? He's just giving the ball away almost in his own penalty box. Rangers result, it's a corner for, I think it's a corner for Rangers, is that right? Yeah.
It is, Craig, yeah. I mean, it's that thing, isn't it? Obviously, Ange Postecoglou always wants you to play, but at certain times, you've got to take it upon yourself to think that's not the right thing to do.
If there's absolutely nothing on, then you have to get rid of the ball. It's as simple as that.
Right, corner for Rangers. It is Leila Barda, the Israeli, who's enjoyed himself in the Old Firm games recently. He's going to come on. Celtic with the corner to defend. That's good delivery into the near post. Flicked header across the face of goal. Will go out for a goal kick to Celtic. Rangers players and the Rangers fans don't agree. The fans taking their cue from the players. So Aaron Moy, who's probably a little unlucky actually not to start today, lost his place in midfield to Hatate, who have been playing right back for the last couple of games. Matt O'Reilly is coming off as one of the Celtic changes, and Aaron Moy, having scored 2 goals, one from the penalty spot in fact in that 4-0 win at Hibs, he comes into the midfield. James Forrest comes off and Leila Barda comes on, so it's 2 like-for-like changes.
Well,
really.
You can argue that those 2 deserve to start the match. I mean, that's the strength of the squad, as we spoke about earlier on. So these 2 certainly will liven things up. I don't think Forrest has had his best match particularly, and I thought that I just think this is a good change, and I think it's designed to bring more energy to the team, and Celtic need that right now.
It's Craig Levine with us here at Ibrox. Rangers 2, Celtic 1. Double change for Celtic. 3rd substitution in the game, because obviously Juranovic had to come on for Greg Taylor as well. Here's their goal scorer, Maida. Collects the ball on the left. Pass to Hatate. Gets past Lundstrom. Maida tried to take it off Hatate and carry the attack on for Celtic. They've lost it. Here's Sakala. Hatate back to win the ball off him. Now assesses his options. Wide on the left inside his own half. Starfelt. Time to take a touch here just outside his penalty area. Slides the pass across to Carter Vickers to his right hand side. So Ange Postecoglou's record since arriving against Rangers in the league: 5 derbies, won 3, drawn 1, lost 1. That was the first one back at Ibrox August 2021. Since then, 10 goals, 4-2 against going into this game, and it looked like it was going that way early on in this one, but now they find themselves behind. Aaron Moy, first touch of the game, slides a pass down the right. Celtic are able to keep that in play wide on the right. That's Abada's first touch. He's tackled by Barisic. Throw in for Celtic, and they will not go quietly, you know that, and Rangers will know. And they will have some defending to do if they're going to see this out and win the game. Moy tried to control an awkward bouncing ball from the throw. Cross does come in. Goldson and Tavernier get in a bit of a tangle. The ball ends up at the feet of Sakala though. Sakala trying to run it out down the right. Maida sticks with him, gets his body in the way. That goes out for a throw into Celtic. Sakala tries to stop Maida taking the quick one. He just lobs it off to Juranovic, and Celtic go again. Craig Levine.
Yeah, it's a bad idea to try and race Maida, isn't it?
Exactly. Rangers 2, Celtic 1. 5 more games in the Scottish Premiership kicking up at 3 o'clock this afternoon. 6 3 o'clock kickoffs in the Championship as well. The leaders Burnley away at Swansea. Sheffield United, their closest challengers, away at QPR tonight in an 8 o'clock kickoff. Here comes Celtic. Johnston to Abada. Abada's inside the penalty area. Little trick, cross into the far post. Tavernier flicks the header away. That goes behind for a corner to Celtic. 4 3 o'clock kickoffs in League One this afternoon. Ipswich and Sheffield Wednesday, closest challengers to Plymouth. Ipswich away at Lincoln. Sheffield Wednesday host Cambridge United. Good games in League Two as well. Third place Northampton against the leaders Leyton Orient. Stevenage host the bottom club Gillingham, all kicking off at 3 o'clock. Moyes corner into the penalty area. Goldson up, heads it high over his own crossbar. That'll be another corner. So to keep up with all the football this afternoon, 5 live bulletins throughout the afternoon, and also the BBC Sport website will be the place to go to stay in touch. 5 Live Sport on air from 7 o'clock this evening. Moyes corner in, good delivery. Ball bouncing around inside the Rangers box. Starfelt tries to get a shot away. Rangers struggling to clear it. Eventually they do so. Goldson just sticks out a long right leg, gets a foot on the ball and clears up towards the halfway line. Rangers 2, Celtic 1.
Yeah, don't panic, Captain Mariner. There's a degree of panic in that penalty box there when the first header just went straight up in the air, and there was a bit of jostling and the ball could have landed anywhere. And I think Rangers were a little bit lucky there.
It's a hugely important Craig game, even regardless of the title race for Michael Beale, because obviously he's coming in, he's won the first 4, and the first 2 were squeaky, weren't they? Against Hibs, they went 1-0 down and 2-1 down and 1-3-2. Against Aberdeen, they needed 2 goals in stoppage time there, but a win of this magnitude would be...
This one helps him with the supporters so much.
Yeah. Here's Roddy.
Is there a VAR check going on here because of a possible handball?
In the penalty area,
I think it was Goldson.
Well spotted, Roddy.
Goldson.
Well spotted, yes. Up on the big screen away to our left-hand side, it says checking possible penalty, handball. John Beaton says no. Now we've not got the images, we've not seen that, but the video assistant referee Willie Collum and his team have had a look and felt there's not enough in that to give it as a clear and obvious error. No penalty.
I didn't see a handball at all, to be honest. Maybe it did hit his hand, but I didn't see it.
Okay. Well, no penalty.
Goldson had a hand up, but whether it hit him or not was the debate.
Okay, thank you, Roddy. Rangers 2, Celtic 1. Ben Davis, Rangers centre-back, plays to his left. Rangers playing out from inside their own half. John Lundstrom runs forward, runs into a challenge, goes down. Alistair Johnston stuck a leg out. Free kick, Rangers.
Well, I do believe, Alistair, that they have picked up the pace, Celtic, a little bit, and again coming back to the pressing that they started the match with. They're back to that level again. So obviously the introduction of 2 new players has made a difference.
Next up for Rangers, Dundee United away on Sunday. Next up for Celtic, Kilmarnock at home on Saturday. I noticed there is a chance, of course, these 2 could meet in a League Cup final as well. League Cup semi-finals not too far away. Celtic, Kilmarnock and Rangers Aberdeen in those games, but in this league game, all important at the moment, it's Rangers who lead Celtic by 2-1. 25 minutes to play, that is all. Morelos back into his own half. Kamara up to Ryan Kent. Kent, who scored that wonderful equaliser early in the second half, lays off to Morelos. Barisic finds Morelos again wide on the left. Carter Vickers is drawn out there towards him. Barisic plays it back to Kamara. Kamara across here to Lundstrom. Lundstrom on the ball, 30 yards out, inside left channel for Rangers to Barisic. Swings that cross in, deep to the far post. Sakala, it's beyond him, but Tavernier's behind him. Tavernier able to control it. Maida's there putting him under pressure. Gets the ball into the box. Tall figure of Malik Tillman. Passes intercepted. Celtic can only clear it up towards the halfway line, and Ryan Kent's happy to let that go out for a throw into Rangers. So they lead 2-1. Michael Beale in his smart blue coat, shiny shoes, just side foots the ball to his skipper James Tavernier, who lobs it up towards Morelos. Morelos lets it thud into his chest. It bounces back to Tavernier, flicks it back to Morelos, towards Tillman, surrounded by 4 green and white hooped shirts. Cleared away, but only as far as Kamara. Lundstrom, low pass to Tavernier, back to Lundstrom. Lundstrom gives it to Kamara, forward to Kent. Kent skips away from McGregor, midway inside the Celtic half. Another trick, beats Moy, then a step over. Moy this time too strong for him, just bumps him off the ball and plays it back to Johnston, and Celtic now turn it into an attack of their own. Moy's curling pass down the right-hand side, Lundstrom across to intercept that before Abada could get there, and he plays it to Kamara. Wide open game at the moment. Kamara looking for the run of Tillman through the middle. The pass is too long, and Joe Hart is able to collect.
Yeah, I think the progress that Rangers made, a lot of it is to do with their two holding midfield players. They've really managed to snuff Celtic out in an attacking sense, and I think they've both had wonderful matches. Kamara,
Lundstrom.
And Lundstrom,
Yeah, absolutely. No, I'd agree, Craig. Here's Juranovic on the left-hand side. I do wonder and Giacomakis potentially might be thrown into the action for Celtic.
Yeah, they poses a different problem, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I know in recent games against Rangers, when Kyogo, in fact in the last one, the first one this season, Kyogo went off in like the second minute of the game, and Giacomakis came on and has done well against Rangers. Kyogo's still out there at the moment. Rangers leading Celtic 2-1. Celtic will still have a healthy 6-point lead at the top of the table if they win the game, but it just feels like the narrative changes a little bit. Rangers to be 5 wins out of 5 under Michael Beale as Moy plays the ball back to Callum McGregor. Here's Carter Vickers. Low pass to his right, Johnston slips. Tackled by Lundstrom doing that defensive job. Carter Vickers back on the ball for Celtic. Johnston this time able to find Aaron Moy. Lundstrom took a little whack in the initial challenge, struggling to get back to cover this. Moy's ball into the penalty area, doesn't quite sit up. Celtic half appeal for a handball. Maida back to McGregor, another shot comes in. McGregor appeals for a handball on the block, and this one will go out for a corner to Celtic, and John Beaton is saying hold on. He's just saying hold on before you take the corner, and Celtic are wise to hold on actually, because if they restart the game too quickly and VAR's not had a chance to look, they may not get a potential penalty. So VAR will be in communication with John Beaton at the moment. He put his right hand to his ear to his headphone where he will get the instructions, and at the moment he is saying hold fire on the Celtic corner. Rangers 2, Celtic 1, 20 minutes to play. It was Callum McGregor's shot that was blocked, a strike from the edge of the penalty area, and John Beaton still has his left arm out and is saying wait here. And we are still waiting, and you can hear the whistles and the jeers, and then the whistle blows, no penalty. And eventually the message goes up on the screen and the fans understand what was going on. Moy's corner comes into the box. Goldson with a powerful header away. Ball drops, Juranovic cushions it on the volley. Ryan Kent wins the next one. Suddenly Rangers on the counter, looking potentially to try and kill this game. Sakala being chased back by Alistair Johnston. Sakala's going to take him on. He's not got the beating of him. Hatate plays a pass forward, and Rangers now will play out. I've got a feeling it could get really end-to-end actually this second half.
Well, Celtic have to go for it, don't they? I mean, they really have to take the brakes off and go for it now.
Hope you're enjoying the entertainment on 5 Live and BBC Sounds this afternoon. Connie McLaughlin will be picking up from us after the game. Drive from 4 o'clock. Monday Night Club from 7 until 8 with Mark Chapman. And then a special programme celebrating 75 years of Sports Report. Mark Chapman alongside Pat Murphy is going to be well worth a listen this evening. Ryan Jack is going to get thrown into the action by Michael Beale. So John Lundstrom has done his bit for the team. He's actually...
He got a knock in the chest.
Got a knock in the chest.
Yeah,
exactly.
An elbow in the chest, and he seems to be suffering.
Yeah, let's just see if we can get some more thoughts from Roddy Forsyth as Rangers make the change. I was just saying to Craig there, Roddy, in terms of the impact a potential Rangers win could have, not just on the title race, but I think for Michael Beale's start as manager here.
Well, of course, Ange Postecoglou did it when in the equivalent fixture at Celtic Park last year, when Celtic simply blew Rangers away, and at that point their momentum was established and Ange Postecoglou became a hero of the Celtic support. They began to refer to the game as Ange Ball at that stage. That's what Michael Beale's up against.
Trying to make it 5 wins out of 5, and as I said, as Morelos finds Sakala into the penalty area on the angle, onto his left foot. Sakala's shot well blocked by Carter Vickers. The ball breaks loose to Malik Tillman, 30 yards out. Tillman trying to get away from Moy and Maida. They team up and take the ball off him. Abada gets it for Celtic on the halfway line. Ryan Jack sliding in, wins the ball, and it goes out for a throw into Celtic on the right. Could be the first Rangers manager, Michael Beale, to win his first league derby against Celtic since Ali McCoist back in 2011. Saw Ali McCoist arrive earlier on, part of TV coverage here today, having a good chat with some of the fans on his way down the touchline and flicking through the programme as well. His records for Rangers in the Old Firm derby still stand in terms of goal scoring feats. Tillman's challenge on Hatate concedes a free kick for Celtic, attacking position on the left-hand side.
Yeah, and I do think John's left his cards in the house, hasn't he?
He's not given one, has he?
Not been one booking, and I do think that was deserving of a booking.
Absolutely, Craig. That was a hefty challenge, I would describe it as, from Tillman. And I think the players are probably seeing the way the game is going and thinking, right, well, it looks like we're allowed to this point. And I tell you what, we're only 18 minutes away from the full-time whistle. Rangers with a set piece to defend, leading Celtic by 2-1. Moy with the free kick driven to the far post. Carter Vickers is up, the ball glances off his head and it goes behind for a goal kick to Rangers. So 3 o'clock this afternoon, Hearts Hibs, Aberdeen Ross County, Kilmarnock St Mirren, Livingston Motherwell, and St Johnstone against Dundee United, Brentford Liverpool in the Premier League. If you're a fantasy football manager, then your game week 19 deadline, very important, is at 4 o'clock this afternoon. So make sure you get your transfers and your team changes and your captain done and all of that. We are recording the next Fantasy 606 podcast on Wednesday. It will be available on the BBC Sounds app for you on Thursday. Football Daily podcast, of course, will be there for you tomorrow morning when we'll have plenty of reaction to this game. Michael Beale was a guest, of course, on the Friday Football Social last week. I scribbled a few of the quotes down that he gave to Darren Fletcher in the interview, particularly about this game, sending the team out to really try and win it. We want to show everyone we are not as far behind Celtic as everyone seems to believe. I want to be at a club where you can win trophies. The pressure and the demands of the job at Rangers will help me grow as a manager. Big afternoon for him today. Rangers are leading 2-1. They've got a free kick 10 yards inside the Celtic half. Celtic with a high line, and Tavernier lofts it high to the corner of the box, chested down by Galton. It falls to Kent. Kent lays it off to Kamara. Kamara dummies across, plays back to Kent, switches from his left foot to his right, thinks about a back heel, still going. Kent dribbling on the edge of the box, eventually taken off him. Aaron Moy on the ball. Kyogo goes down in the centre circle as Celtic tried to break. John Beaton gives a free kick further back down the field, but the momentum of the attack has been stopped, which is what Rangers were trying to do.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. There was some sort of clash with Kyogo and one of the defenders. I wasn't exactly sure what happened.
Moy's ball down the right hand side. Here comes Celtic with a Barda. The ball wouldn't quite fall for him. Atate speeds onto it. Barda's little layoff here to Moy. Here's Johnston, the right back. Johnston goes for an early cross, swung into the far post. Midas there. Tavernier's there as well. Good header from Tavernier, brave. And he's bumped into Midas' shoulder as he won the header, and has quite rightly, well, understandably, gone down holding his face. Nothing wrong from Maida there, though.
Firstly, what a wonderful clearance. You know, I mean, that ball came into the back post, and he had to win that header. If he didn't win the header, then I'm pretty sure that Maida would have been in. He's actually holding his head as well, so I think it's been a clash of heads, actually.
Yeah, I mean, it looks to me like a free kick's been given, because it has been given. I didn't think there was anything wrong. Anyway, let's get some more thoughts from Roddy Forsyth.
Well, I have a question for Craig Levein, which is that after one of the recent games, I think it might have been the St Johnstone game, we were talking to Ange Postecoglou, and the question of Celtic's fitness came up. He believed they were the fittest team in the league. This afternoon, Rangers look as though they have matched them and arguably exceeded them.
You know, I think I'm just actually going to mention that as a manager, sometimes you wonder, where did this come from? You know, what is Ange thinking? Where did this performance come from? And I suppose you have to credit Rangers. Of course, they played very well today, but Celtic have been a shadow of themselves today, and I'm sure he's genuinely really frustrated about what his team have done today.
Quite interesting to watch Michael Beale in action here as well, because obviously only 5 games into the reign and still trying to get the instructions across. So while the injury delay is ongoing, Ryan Kent, Fashion Sakala and Malik Tillman all huddled around their manager receiving the instructions. Scott Wright is waiting to come on. Jota is going to come on for Celtic as well. Rangers leading this game by 2-1. 14 minutes to play, but we're going to have a fair bit of added time at the end of the second half, and it does set up well for the second half of this Scottish Premiership season as well, Craig.
Yeah, for the competition.
Yeah, for the competition, exactly.
Yeah, I think it's the best result for the competition. Yeah. Of course it is. I mean, I've watched a fair bit of Celtic this year, Alistair, and this really is a performance that's dropped not just 5% to 10% below what they usually provide. So I mean, this will be a bit of a mystery to the manager as to why the performance hasn't been anywhere near what it should be.
Dyson Maida off, Hatate off, Giakoumakis and Jota on. Entirely different front three. Abada, Jota and Giakoumakis now for Rangers to deal with. James Tavernier is still receiving treatment, having taken the whack in the face. When we get back underway, it'll be a Rangers free kick inside their own penalty. They're leading Celtic by 2-1, and Scott Wright is still waiting to come onto the field.
Yeah, I don't think it was a concussion at all.
No, it's bloody nose, it looks like. Yeah, well,
that's always the first concern, isn't it, when you see somebody go down like that? Yeah. It's concussion, but I think his nose is, I think when he's headed the ball clear, his nose has hit Maida's head, I think it was.
Yeah, I mean, I still despite the knock, I still didn't see it as a free kick, because Tavernier sort of headed his shoulder, I thought. But anyway, free kick for Rangers. McGregor takes it, and I thought he put it straight out of play. Morelos does well to win a header and flick the ball infield. So Celtic have 13 minutes plus added time remaining to try and find themselves an equaliser. And Rangers with the chance, with the win, to close the gap to 6 points at the top of the table. And this stadium is going to be absolutely buzzing come the final whistle if they do see this one through. But I've got a feeling it's going to be quite end-to-end last 10 or so minutes of this game. Carter Vickers on the ball for Celtic. This possibly the calm before the storm. Slow build-up from Celtic inside their own half. Juranovic's pass forward, intercepted by Tillman. Juranovic gets it back, plays it to Starfelt. Starfelt across here to Carter Vickers. Carter Vickers forward to McGregor inside his own half, turns on the edge of the centre circle, sees Juranovic in a load of space on the left hand side. Tillman's coming across to try and cover it. Juranovic senses an opportunity to get away, plays it to Jota. Jota's little scoop ball finds Juranovic, and he's offside. He continued the run, but the offside flag is up, so that'll be a free kick for Rangers. Scott Wright about to come on then as Rangers make this latest change. He will come on for Morelos. So Morelos hasn't got his goal in a 20th Old Firm game. 2 in 20 for him. Had a couple of great chances in the first half, but certainly a part of that sort of surge forward in the second half for Rangers that has got them in front in this game.
Yes, I mean, it's been quite an enjoyable contest that between Carter Vickers and Morelos. It's interesting to see what they do now, because they don't have a recognised striker on the field. The Wright's more of a wide player, and so is Sakala, so we're going to see what Rangers do.
Looks like Sakala through the middle in the initial setup, doesn't it, Craig? Yeah. And then Scott Wright's gone to the right, and Tillman possibly still in the role just off the striker. Sakala's chasing the ball here. Carter Vickers plays forward to Kyogo. So we've got Kyogo and Giacomakis both on the field for Celtic now. They're trailing Rangers 2-1. Tillman gets a little nudge from Juranovic. Assistant referee sees that as a fair shoulder-to-shoulder challenge. And the ball goes out for a Celtic throw on the left. So in terms of recent Old Firm games in the league, Rangers lost one at Ibrox 1-0 back in August 2021. That was their league win. Of course, beat Celtic in the Cup semi-final as well last season. Alan McGregor onto the through ball. Giacomakis chases. There was too much on it from the back, so McGregor falls gratefully onto the ball, and we tick over into the last 10 minutes of the game. McGregor on the drop kick, fires it away with his right foot, high to the right-hand side. Great control from Scott Wright, brings it down beautifully, plays it back to Tavernier. Tavernier's pass to Jack. Jack clips it forward first time. Juranovic has got it covered down by the byline. Scott Wright makes the challenge, but it goes behind for the Celtic goal kick.
The pace of the game has dropped a little bit since that injury. I think the flow, it was really exciting before that, wasn't it? But I think the flow's sort of been lost, and I think both teams are sort of struggling to get it going again.
Thoughts of Craig Levine, former Scotland manager, with us on 5 Live and BBC Sounds this afternoon. Rangers pressing now. Starfelt got to be careful, does well. Little back heel takes him away from Tillman. Plays the ball to the Celtic skipper, Callum McGregor. Wide to Alistair Johnston. Johnston down the line to Abada. Back to Johnston. Johnston closed down by Ryan Kent. Great energy levels from Rangers into the last 10 minutes of the game. Michael Beale looking to make another change, the Rangers boss as well. Callum McGregor on the ball for Celtic, sees an opportunity to try and play Jota in. Jota can't quite control the ball forward first time, keeps it from going behind for a goal kick, just knocks it out for a throw into Rangers. Had he been able to bring that down, could have been an opportunity there, Craig.
Yeah, it's most unlike him. I mean, his touch is normally sublime, but that one just got away from him.
So throwing Rangers in the right back position. They're quite happy to take their time and let the seconds tick away. Tavernier's got the ball in hand. He's standing just down to our left here. Broomloan Road stand, two-tiered behind him. Tillman wins the first ball. Scott Wright with an overhead kick into the Celtic half. Carter Vickers under pressure gives it away to Wright. Wright decides to keep running. Rides the challenger Callum McGregor, then goes tumbling over, but it was his momentum, his stumble that took him over. No foul there. Celtic allowed to keep playing. 7.5 minutes to go, plus added time. Centre-back James Sands next to come on for Rangers. Celtic centre-back Cameron Carter-Vickers on the ball. Celtic, the champions, trailing by 2-1. Will Rangers fans really start to believe that Rangers can use the result as a springboard and go on and get ahead of Celtic in this title race this season? Here's Aaron Moy inside the Rangers half. Little ball forward to his left to Jota.
Will he bring another centre-back on to make 3 centre-backs and take a more attacking player off? That'd be interesting.
Kyogo 1-2 with Giakoumakis. Rangers get a foot in, and then Kamara with a great ball away, and here come Rangers looking dangerous on the counter. Ryan Kent's got the fans out of their seats, slides it into Tillman. Tillman with the shot, and that's blocked before Joe Hart could even make the save. That would have been a game clincher. But Rangers couldn't stick it away. Those opportunities on the counter might come for them now. They've got to be careful because Celtic come pouring forward. Giakoumakis, loose pass back into midfield. Ryan Jack does brilliantly. Carries the ball forward for Rangers into the Celtic half. Flicks it into the path of Kamara. That's played up towards Tillman. Tillman gets a shove in the back from Carter-Vickers, and that'll be a free kick to Rangers. So here comes their change then. James Sands jogging on the spot. So yeah, you might well be right, Craig. It's Malik Tillman coming off and James Sands coming on.
Yeah, well, that's the handcuffs going on. The result. Well, I was hoping it was going to be that anyway. Putting that extra defender in.
So Rangers 6 minutes plus added time away from a really important win for them in terms of the title race, in terms of halting the Celtic momentum, in terms of Michael Beale's early time in charge of this club, having replaced Giovanni van Bronckhorst in late November. He still looks very calm, very collected on the sidelines, waiting for Tillman to trudge his way over to the side of the pitch here. And Rangers holding this 2-1 lead. As I say, tomorrow night, Arsenal-Newcastle, full commentary on that one in the Premier League. Kicks off at 7:45. Our commentaries on 5 Live Wednesday and Thursday. Both kick off at 8 o'clock. Palace-Tottenham on Wednesday. Chelsea-Manchester City on Thursday. Reaction to this game in the Football Daily podcast available for you first thing tomorrow morning on the BBC Sounds app. Monday Night Club from 7 o'clock tonight on 5 Live. Barisic with the free kick. Goes high to the corner of the Celtic penalty area. Moy turns, runs to his left, clears it on the half volley with his left foot. Headed forward by Tavernier. Callum McGregor wins the next header. Ben Davies underneath it, powers a header forward. Starfelt returns that with interest. Then it's headed forward again by Sands. Ball breaks loose just outside the Celtic box and eventually comes back to Joe Hart. 5 minutes plus added time to play. Rangers 2, Celtic 1. Just looking to see where Sands is. So Sands has gone into sort of central midfield there,
yeah,
hasn't he?
So they've kept the back four.
Yeah. Aaron Moyes curling past to his left. Jota, yeah, just got away from him, stretching to try and control it with his head, and the ball's come off his head and gone out for a throw. Here's Roddy Forsyth.
Just with a stat for you that's come up on our coverage, Celtic have scored 16 goals in the final 15 minutes of matches this season. Okay. More than anybody else in Scotland.
Here we go then. Rangers will know that. Rangers will be well aware of that, I'm sure. Tavernier with a throw. 5 minutes plus added time remaining. Rangers leading Celtic 2-1. Flick on by Scott Wright. Sakala will chase. Starfelt's back pass might not have enough on it. Joe Hart comes sprinting out of his box to make sure it does. Clears with his left foot. Kyogo jumps, beaten in the air by Tavernier. Ball drops loose, and that's what Sands is there for. Lovely pass as well to Kamara. Kamara's got Kent on his outside. Kent on the ball, edge of the box. Kamara continues the run. Angle's too tight for him, then struggles to keep the ball in play and eventually gets a foot on it, and it goes out for a throw into Celtic in the right back position. So they've had their chance, that Tillman chance, to clinch the game and win it 3-1. They were looking again there, couldn't fashion a shot on goal. 3.5 minutes to go. Celtic will keep coming. Staring only a second domestic defeat of the season in the face here, Celtic. Having won 18 of the first 19 games, a feat which only Brendan Rodgers' team in 2016-17 managed at the start of a Scottish Premiership season, and Martin O'Neill's team in 2003-2004. Again, just emphasises how big the win will be for Rangers if it comes. Defending to do. Jota skips past Tavernier. Up towards the edge of the penalty area. Rolls it into Moy. Moy trying to turn. Left-footed cross. Blocked by Ryan Jack. Giakoumakis on the turn. Chance. Goal! Celtic through Kyogo get their equaliser. The ball broke loose 8 yards out. Rangers couldn't get it clear, and Celtic have done it again late in a game. Kyogo firing home into the roof of the net. Rangers so close, but yet so far it's Rangers 2, Celtic 2.
Well, this game never ceases to amaze me. You couldn't see that, could you? You couldn't see Celtic getting back into the game the way things were going. And it was a bit of a scrappy goal, but it was a good finish by Kyogo, who has been fairly anonymous all afternoon. He's not really performed to the levels that he certainly did do early in the season. But when Ange will be absolutely thrilled to bits, because his team have kept plugging away without being, looking very dangerous at all. But they've managed to get themselves back in the game with 2 or 3 minutes plus injury time left.
Well, listen to that response from the Rangers fans, just trying to get back behind their team. I mean, it was the classic air just totally going out of the balloon when Kyogo's finish went into the roof of the net. Did well as Craig was explaining. Busy packed penalty area. Chance came quickly, but made sure with goalkeeper there and defenders on the line that he wasn't going to give them a chance to save it. Went high into the roof of the net. So Rangers 2, Celtic 2. Fair bit of added time to come, I think. And here come Rangers again. Ryan Kent plays the ball wide to Barisic on the left-hand side. Kamara forward to Kent. Celtic looking for an offside. Flag stays down. Here's Kent again, 40 yards from goal. Plays back to Galton. Is there going to be one final little twist in a very entertaining tale here at Ibrox on 5 Live and BBC Sounds? Jack plays out to Scott Wright. Wright's cross into the penalty area, headed away, chested down. James Sands might as well have a go, I think. Doesn't fancy the shot. Rangers fans can't understand why. He's lost it. He's lost it just outside the penalty area, and Leo Labada's away. Can he get Giakoumakis away? Goldson will stretch and does just enough for Rangers. Gets a foot on the ball, and it goes out for a throw-in, but the offside flag was up anyway on the Celtic counter-attack.
Well, I don't know what to say about that. I mean, what was he thinking about? I mean, it was set up for him to shoot, and he held on to it and held on to it and held on to it, lost it, and then it looked like they were going to suffer the counter-attack.
I think there might be 7 minutes of added time on the way, and I've got to say, the game has been so enjoyable, Craig. I'm quite happy to watch 7 more minutes of this.
Yeah, I mean, a big chunk of that will be the nose injury to Tavernier, I think it was.
Yeah, that's right, with the bang he took in the face. So Rangers 2, Celtic 2. Maida scoring very early for Celtic. Sudden turnaround at the start of the second half. Ryan Kent with a stunning equaliser. Tavernier from the penalty spot after the silly challenge from Carl Starfelt. And the late equaliser as it stands from Kyogo Furuhashi. 16 goals in 18 Premiership appearances this season. 7 minutes of added time starts now. Throw in for Rangers on the right hand side in an attacking position. And after all this so far, Celtic's lead at the top of the Premiership will remain 9 points with 18 games to play. So an absolutely vital equaliser from Kyogo. Celtic with Callum McGregor just outside his penalty area, clears with his left foot. Goldson having a right old wrestle with Giakoumakis. Giakoumakis ends up on the floor. John Beaton says, I saw what you were doing there. Giakoumakis gives the free kick to Rangers, and Goldson's stolen about 7 or 8 yards. John Beaton doesn't seem too bothered about that.
Well, he's calling him back now.
Oh, yeah.
He must have heard you.
He must have heard me. Lone Gull has just gone swooping across the stadium as well, just to have a little peer down on proceedings. What a game of football. Very rarely fails to entertain the Old Firm derby. Tavernier's free kick into the edge of the box, headed away. Rangers pick up the loose ball. Here's Sakala, good skills. Tight space, edge of the box, looking for the 1-2. Force wide, hits the shot, slices it badly. Off balance, was going to be very difficult to get a meaningful strike on target from there.
Yeah, it was good play though. It wasn't about Sakala. He's gone in, and I think if Wright had set the ball back better for him, he wouldn't have had to play the ball from outside the area where he wanted to hit it. And that's why the end ball ended up going wide and over the bar. It wasn't quite the perfect 1-2.
Both teams hopefully going to get sucked in to really desperately trying to win this game. Draw probably suits Celtic. Well, it does suit in terms of the title race, suits Celtic slightly better, but when you play in an atmosphere like this and the game the way it swung to and fro, you just hope, and we hope as well, I guess, both just keep going for it.
Yeah, I think the pattern's been set, and I think they will both keep going for it. I don't see either of them settling for a draw.
2-2, 5 minutes to play, 5 minutes of added time remaining. Ball breaks loose, and Glenn Kamara, that's a tired old ball forward, just gets underneath the half volley and launches it up in the air. Have another go. Kamara chests it down. Oh, and this one's off target as well on the stretch. Plays the ball behind Barisic, goes out for a throw into Celtic on the right.
He looked a little bit tired there, didn't he?
He did. Done a great job, as you were saying, Craig. He and Lundstrom did a fantastic job until Lundstrom went off. Ryan Jack now in there in central midfield for Rangers. Rangers fans will be apprehensive with all those late goals. They know that Celtic score. Jota forward to Moy. Moy plays the ball back to Juranovic. He knows Jota is there. McGregor's just behind him to his right, totally unmarked, 25 yards out. It's on the right foot rather than the left. McGregor tries to work it onto the left foot, didn't know Sakala was there, and James Sands wins a tackle. He's fouled. Late yellow card. First of the game goes to, was it Starfelt with the challenge or McGregor? Not sure.
I think it was Starfelt.
I think Starfelt's been booked. Yeah, Starfelt yellow card. Done well actually to get that far. 92 minutes played. 93 minutes played. First yellow card of the game. We have 4 minutes remaining. 2-2. Goldson's free kick forward. Tavernier will chase. The ball will hold up for him down by the byline so he can get the cross in. Hart stays on his line. Carter Vickers heads it away. Juranovic did really well to control that, to prevent it from going out for a corner. Clears with his right foot. Giakoumakis can't get there. Throw in for Rangers on the right hand side. Rangers were so close. Kyogo's equaliser, 88th minute of the game. Barisic down the line to Kent. Kent with his right foot drills a diagonal ball. Tavernier leaps, controls it brilliantly, plays back to Jack. The ball's behind Jack, gives Celtic a chance to come on the counter. Kyogo trying to get away. Jack has a couple of nibbles. Kyogo isn't fouled. The referee, though, saw the challenges, tried to let the advantage go, gives the yellow card to Jack, gives the free kick to Celtic.
Yeah, I think he's had a good game today, John Beaton. I think he's let the game flow, and it's been quite exciting from that point of view. There's been physical contests that have been interesting. But in general, he's refereed the game very well. 2-2, brilliant game of football. We've thoroughly enjoyed it. 3 minutes of it remaining. Michael Beale wants his team still pressing. Celtic, Starfelt took a bit of time on the ball there. Scott Wright nearly took it off him. Back it comes to Carter Vickers. Sends a pass spinning down the right-hand side. Barisic doesn't mind jumping in the air to win the header. Ball goes out for a Celtic throw wide on the right. Has either team got enough in the tank to fashion a late chance with 2.5 minutes to go? Alistair Johnston not in a rush, the Canadian. He knows what it's all about now, having made his debut in this one this afternoon. Celtic at walking pace. Carter Vickers on the ball inside his own half. Looks like he's going to go long down the channel again. High spinning pass again. Giakoumakis the target. Good strength from Giakoumakis. Holds off Ben Davis. Little back heel. Tries to turn. Loose pass back into midfield. Gives it away to Scott Wright. Right forward to Sakala. Sakala turning. Kyogo tried to make the challenge. Referee spotted it. Advantage played. Scott Wright beaten to it by Carter Vickers. Those two having a right royal tussle for it. Both holding each other's shirts, and eventually the free kick goes Celtic's way, and you can hear the fury rain down from the stands here at Ibrox, and Sakala goes running over to the assistant referee and said, look, he was basically taking my shirt off. I think he was doing the same actually, wasn't he? I think it was, yeah. I think they were both at it, weren't they?
So 2 minutes to go, 1.5 minutes to go. Rangers 2, Celtic 2. Are Celtic going to get away with the draw, with the late equaliser that will keep them 9 points in front in the title race, without having played
I do think
well?
that Ange will be happy with going away from here with a point, the way the game has worked out.
Joe Hart takes the free kick with his right foot, aimed at Giakoumakis again. Goldson and Tavernier doubled up on him. They let the ball go. It's gone out for a throw, last minute of the game. Tavernier takes it, finds Ben Davis. Giakoumakis chases. It's across to Barisic. Barisic closed down by Abada. Johnston leaps into a challenge. Ball's gone out for a Rangers throw on the left-hand side. 45 seconds to go. 2-2. Looks like that is the way it's going to end. Throw into Kamara, inside his own half. Down the line to Barisic. Back to Ben Davis. Davis across to Goldson. Rangers fans urging their team to get forward to try and create one last chance. Goldson hears them. Long he goes. Ball is headed down and away by Jota. Breaks loose on the halfway line. Won by Jack. Back to Goldson. Ball down the right-hand side. Tavernier well forward in the attack. 15 seconds to play. Here come Rangers. Scott Wright on the right. Pass infield is blocked. Jota is there. Good defended by James Sands. Gets his body in the way. I've got a feeling that's all we've got time for. Two managers head towards each other, shake hands on an honourable and very entertaining draw at Ibrox. Michael Beale might think that is one that has got away. Remains unbeaten as Rangers manager. Celtic took the early lead in the game. Rangers had their chances late in the first half, didn't take them. Scored 2 in 7 minutes at the start of the second half, but in the end, Craig Levein just couldn't keep Celtic out, and Kyogo, who's done it so often this season, found the equaliser for Celtic.
Yeah, and of the two managers, I'm sure Ange will be the happier. Having the lead and losing, it's always the worst way to draw. And I do feel that Michael will feel that his team played really well today, and they probably deserve to get something from the match. Deserve to get 3 points.
Yeah, so it's finished 2-2. Ruddy Forsyth, last thoughts?
Well, you have to feel that Michael Beale would have settled probably for a draw beforehand if you'd offered him that. I don't think he'd settle for that now. But I've been watching Ange Postecoglou's body language and some of his facial language. Not a happy man.
Well, the lead remains 9 points for Celtic, not at their best. Thankful to Kyogo, the star striker, for the late equaliser. It has finished at Ibrox. Rangers 2, Celtic 2. That was a thoroughly enjoyable footballing occasion.
Yeah, it was indeed. I'm just watching the pictures here, Ali, at the moment, and Roddy is absolutely spot on, because Craig, just what you were saying there about, Ange Postecoglou, glad I'm sure that at least they're taking a point from this, but he looks absolutely furious, and I think that just sums up the way that they went into this one, that they had that opportunity to go 12 points clear, and they let that slip through their fingers.
Yeah, I think he'd be mystified as to the level of performance that Celtic put in today. He could take some cheer from the fact that they did manage to fight till the end and get back into the game and go away from here with a lead intact. But I think the way his team performed today is pretty much nowhere near actually what his team have been doing up to this point in the season. So there's going to be an element of frustration there for sure, and there'll be a post-mortem, I'm sure, as well. So, but yeah, it was a thoroughly entertaining match, Connie, and I really did enjoy it.
That's always the jeopardy, isn't it, with these games? Because if your team go into this one on, not in great form, there's always that chance that this could be the game that sparks things. And equally, the other way about is the Celtic fans. I was looking on Twitter this morning. Some of them, getting very excited about it, but others saying, do you know what, I would have taken a draw on this one, and that's exactly what has happened this afternoon. Thank you very much to our commentary team, Craig Levein, former Scotland manager there, Roddy Forsyth, and our commentator, Alistair Bruce Ball. You are listening to 5 Live. It's Connie with you.